Star Spangled Banner, yeah, wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
This is ESPN 1025 The Game. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, with Stillman and Company.
Surprise, surprise!
I write down what was good, what was bad.
Afternoons from 2 to 6.
On ESPN.
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
1025 The Game.
And a good Monday morning to you, and welcome into the DDC here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Darren McFarland, Willie Donnie, Derek Mason with you, Elijah Campbell manning the board at the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Gentlemen, how was your weekend?
Well, we need to report on something to start the show because D-Mace has gotten the week off to a tough start. We got out to a tough start. Darren, you're familiar with the studio. I know you don't come by here as much as you once did, but you know the surroundings here, right? And you know that anytime you start rummaging around and trying to move stuff around, there's some risk. And I do want to say that I warned D-Mace about
move at your own risk.
That's exactly what I said. D-Mace attempted, because it's a nice cool day. The sun's not really blaring in. So he wanted to open the shades and get a little light.
A little light in here.
Yeah.
You know, perk us up.
It was a good idea.
Yeah.
But the problem is these blinds.
You don't know.
You just don't know. They haven't been moved very much. And sure enough, he gets that thing about halfway up, and it looks like he's going water skiing later. One of the blinds just went flying off. It looks like one of those water skis you get out on.
Blind's
on the
been
lake.
touched like twice in 2 years, and you can tell because that thing fell off so fast.
It just went flying.
Yeah. So I said I just set it to the side. For now, I just set it to the side.
It'll make some good firewood for somebody.
Yeah. Somebody could chop it up. Oh, you don't even got to chop it up. Just break it.
Oh, no. I've already done that before, and it'll be back up eventually. So it won't be firewood. It'll be back up. Because I've done the same thing you did. So
I just wanted to let a little light in, you know?
It was a good idea.
Yeah.
You know? I wanted to be able to see the street, you know? And I pulled up halfway, and it just came off. And I was like, okay. I was afraid the whole thing was going to come down.
Oh, yeah. The dominoes.
It happened one time.
We got a loose. There's a loose string. If
ago.
you look, that thing it's precarious right there. We got a broken string. We have to. That's where we start here.
Oh yeah,
start the repairs.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Oh well.
So give it a few minutes. I think
I'm thinking
London Bridge.
If we don't touch it, or if the wind doesn't blow hard, we're good.
Just nobody go near it.
Yes. Nobody. And I mean, nobody goes near it. Hey, and then Willie has on a vintage hat too, Darren.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he has on this vintage Vanderbilt hat.
Yeah.
Billy has a Vanderbilt hat.
Yeah.
on?
I got
No
the
way.
Star V. I got the Star V. It became a vintage look 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
That hat went up in value.
Yeah. It's a throwback now.
How quickly it became a throwback.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I commend Billy for wearing that after this weekend.
After this weekend, you're right. Goodness, it's tough.
Wow.
You have to have some pride when times are tough. That was a tough weekend.
We know you're not a
fair weather fan.
Yeah, fair weather fan, bandwagoner. You're not that type of person. You stick with your team no matter what.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, in all seriousness, we've heaped a whole lot of praise on Tim Corbin and Vanderbilt over the years, rightfully so, because they've been basically the best program in the country for a long time. this Tennessee team doesn't look like they're going away anytime soon. They are built for success. That team is loaded. What do they not do well?
Yeah, you got to tip your cap.
What do they not do well? I mean, they bombs away with the bats. Their pitching is lights out. And I think I heard on one of the broadcasts, I think they're the most aggressive team on the base pads, too, in the country. I mean, this team, they are a triple threat. And they're going to be a hard out for everyone.
No question. They're the real deal. So I think Vanderbilt, they got to wear it. There's no other way around it. You got to wear it. You got to get better. And the thing about baseball is it's a long season, and they will meet again. They will meet again.
Sounds like a movie.
Yeah.
They will meet again.
Is that part 2?
Exactly.
They meet again, part 2?
Yeah, they will meet again.
It may be in Omaha. I don't know, but Vanderbilt's got to earn that. They're not playing the way they're capable of. I mean, especially at the plate, and full marks to Tennessee. That kid from Blackman yesterday, he was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's a true freshman.
Just a beautifully pitched game.
Yeah.
You have to admire when a guy can get outs in the strike zone as efficiently as he did. That's how you pitch. That was artful. And at the same time, Vanderbilt has too good of a veteran lineup to not score any more in their home park than that. They're better than that. The pitching, I think, is still going to take some time to really get where it needs to be, but they've got the talent to do it. So a lot to work on. This is a great test for this group. The standards are so high, people get freaked out if you lose 3 in a row, even if it's to the hottest team in the country. So I know we'll discuss it a little bit more later, but I think this is going to be really something to watch, because that was a haymaker there by Tennessee.
Just to put in perspective, this kid Drew Beam, who, like I said, is a Murfreesboro native, played at Blackman. He is a true freshman. So this kid is 18, maybe 19. I mean, he just was in high school. He has pitched 3 SEC. He's had 3 SEC starts this year. His shortest outing is a 7 1/3. Just think about that. 3 SEC starts. His shortest outing is 7 1/3. He's allowed 6 hits and 1 run in those 3 starts.
That's dominance.
That is pure dominance. In the SEC, it's the best conference in baseball in the country, and it's really not even close. That's amazing. I mean, it is amazing. And it's not like he is like Tennessee has some flamethrowers. It's not like he's this guy that's hitting 101 on the radar, right? It's not like he's got this – he's blowing it by everybody. In fact, I think he had, 4 strikeouts yesterday in a complete game?
That's what I really admired about him, is he was dominant without a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah.
He was dominant by mixing his pitches and attacking the strike zone and just coming at you. I was listening to Kevin Ingram on his broadcast with Andrew Miller, and they were Andrew Harris, sorry. I'm thinking of the lefty from the Cardinals. And they were talking about the dilemma that hitters have when you face a guy like that. Because, like you said, Darren, he doesn't throw 96, 97, but, he's in the low 90s with movement, but he's not going to walk anybody. So your dilemma is, do I go up trying to hack the first pitch because he's not going to walk you? Okay, try that. But then you get several outs on the first or second pitch, which he did. Keeps his pitch count down, and he's rolling through. If you take to try to, make him work, so to speak, then it's 0-1, 0-2, and you're in the hole. That's why attacking the strike zone with good stuff is really the best way to pitch. That's how you get complete games.
He retired the last 16 batters.
Easily. There weren't a whole lot of hard-hit balls in there.
And he is the first UT pitcher to go complete game shutout in 3 years. Just to put things in perspective, Garrett Stallings did it 3 years ago against Ole Miss. Like I said, this team, look, and Vanderbilt, Willie, like you were saying, it's not like next week is Hoover and it's the SEC tournament and it's like, oh, snap. No, look, they're still got a ways to go. And so teams can improve and get better, and I suspect Vanderbilt will certainly get better. But right now, just looking at this Tennessee team, I was trying to find holes. I mean, they're 27-1 this season.
Well, they haven't been behind in a game.
I was just
in
saying,
like 19 games.
Right. They're rarely ever even trailing in a game. So they are, man. It's impressive. I never thought I would see. And by the way, we knew going into the series Vanderbilt was the underdog, which is, I never thought I would ever say that, right? That they were the underdog in a home series. They were the underdog, but I don't think I ever thought I would see, while Tim Corbin was at Vanderbilt, a Vanderbilt team that was just basically shut down at home for 3 games. And they were. They were never close to taking a game in that series. And I just don't think I ever thought I would see that. That's how good this Tennessee team is.
Well, how do you handle it? That's the question for this Vanderbilt group. I think they're a talented group. I think they'll come around, and you got to earn another shot at the Big Orange. I think they will.
You got to be on your A game when you come
Long
back.
season. Baseball is an interesting game.
Indeed it is. So we'll have Vince Ferrara join us at high noon. So we'll certainly delve into that hot and heavy coming up at noon. Kansas and North Carolina. Kansas and North Carolina tonight for the national championship. I thought it was going to be Kansas and Duke, but, man, hats off to North Carolina. It was an awesome game. I tweeted out after the game, I mean, how many times does the hyped game actually live up to the hype? And that game lived up to the hype. It was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was back and forth, and, Carolina would go on a run, then Duke would come back and go on a run. Carolina would go on a run, then Duke come back. What I guess what baffled me in that game is that Duke used up all of their timeouts, and they still had, it was maybe 3 minutes left in the game, and they couldn't call a timeout. And then I was trying to figure out, why was Davis calling timeouts? Obviously, it worked for him, but he was calling timeout at the end of the game, and I'm thinking, like, you're giving Duke an opportunity to set up what they need to set up instead of just allowing your team to just continue to play. Because at that point, Carolina, they had the game. They were the better team toward the latter part of the game. And when Hubert Davis would call a timeout, I'm thinking, like, man, you're giving Coach K an opportunity to set up a play after they've hit free throws. It didn't make sense, but it worked for them, and Carolina finds themselves in the national championship.
We'll come back and continue the discussion on that, because we'll say congratulations to the national champion. On the women's side, we'll kind of talk about this game. We will have Kansas play-by-play man from New Orleans on at the bottom of the hour. That's coming up at 10:30. I think people still view Kansas as the favorite, but, man, this North Carolina team, are they just this hot, and can they ride this wave all the way to the finish line and finish it off? We'll discuss all that and more on the other side. Darren, Donick, and Chase, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free. Plus, a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
This segment of ESPN 1025 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
The racing, the big one, the camping. It's all just bigger at Talladega. And with a doubleheader on Saturday and the premiere of the next-gen cars on Sunday, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. NASCAR's biggest and baddest track is back. The Talladega NASCAR Weekend, April 23rd through the 24th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
It's watching the top players take the ice. It's hard-fought games that end in victory. It's showing your favorite team to your favorite people. Secure your seats for the 2022-23 Nashville Predators season today to ensure you never miss a game at Bridgestone Arena. Plus, enjoy Nashville locker room discounts, exclusive presale offers, and more. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. Join the Loyal Legion today and paint the town Preds. That's NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. NashvillePredators.com/season tickets.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution, and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at ParmanTractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee ensures children and teens, especially those who need us most, are ready to read, ready for class, ready to graduate, ready for their career, and ready to serve the community. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
Jump in the mind of an NHL veteran as Predators analyst Hal Gill joins Stillman Company Tuesday afternoons at 5:30.
Here they are in a pressure situation every night because they need 2 points.
And Robbie and Rex Road Thursday mornings at 9:30.
Goaltending, I think it might be an issue at some point.
Presented by Duncan on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
You can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. This is what I know coming up in about an hour and a half. A pair of tickets to see the Predators take on the Sharks at Bridgestone Arena next Tuesday. So keep that in mind. Not tomorrow, but the following Tuesday. Preds and Sharks. That'll be the prize for This Is What I Know. But you'll have to call in and participate and tell us what you know. Back here on the DDC, Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Elijah Campbell, manning the board, Hillside Medical Game Studios. Congratulations to Don Staley in South Carolina. Well, they took apart Connecticut last night, won by 15. They get their second title under Don Staley. South Carolina was pretty much the dominant team all season. I was shocked that they went down, in the SEC tournament here because they've been so dominant. But, boy, you knew it was just a matter of time before they got back on track, and congratulations to them. They, again, win another natty. So I thought it'd be more of a game, to be honest, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I think South Carolina – it's one of those deals because you see it in football sometimes where, you get a team that's 10-0, 11-0, 12-0, and it's like, man, it's almost that superstition thing. Like, let's just lose one now because the pressure, once you get in the playoffs, the pressure is on to continue this, this unbeaten streak. It probably was that way with South Carolina when they lost to Kentucky women's basketball. Let's just get this loss. Not to say that they went in and said, hey, let's get this loss. But it could have been a good thing because now they got it out of the way. There's no pressure to go perfect, and they just go out there and play because they've had the best team throughout the year. It was clear to everybody that they were the most dominant team, and they had the most dominant player in Boston in women college basketball.
I was just thinking about Dawn Staley. She's one of my contemporaries. She was in school at Virginia around the time I was in college. I remember a Dawn Staley Virginia team beating a very, very good Vanderbilt team in the Elite Eight. I think the year was 1992, if I'm mistaken, and Vanderbilt went to the Final Four the next year. But Dawn Staley has got to be among the greatest combination player-coaches of all time. When you look at decorated player, right, great player in the WNBA, 3 gold medals for Team USA, and now 2 national titles. Like, who can top that? Because a lot of times we talk about the greatest players don't always make the greatest coaches. Right, and some of the greatest coaches weren't all that great players. I mean, who can match her accolades in both?
Danny Manning doesn't. No, Danny Manning, no.
Not yet.
I'm gonna say that's a no.
And some would say had COVID not happened, they would have won that year too.
They might have.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Who's at that level, men or women, that good of a player and that good of a coach? What examples have we had, current or former?
I guess Hubert Davis is starting off
on
the right note.
But he's nowhere near the player that Dawn Staley
exactly.
was.
I was going to say, Hubert
But he was a
Davis
good player.
Very
he
good
was
player.
a good player.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of those. Like Lenny Wilkins was a really, really good player.
Yep.
And was a player coach for a long time, and of course has got the most wins of anybody. He's got one. What do you think? He had 1 title as a coach.
Do you think?
But it's interesting just the height of Dawn Staley. So Bill Russell, wasn't he a player coach for some?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be in the mix.
Pat Riley, maybe?
Jerry West.
Pat Riley wasn't the player,
Riley
though.
wasn't
He was a
College
player.
player. I mean,
Great college player. Yeah.
Rups runts. But he was again not. He was not Don Staley level. Not even close.
You think Patrick Ewing can get there?
They're struggling right now.
I know they are.
Ooh, they had a bad year.
Yeah, this year.
Went over in the Big East.
That was
First
rough to
time,
watch.
man.
Yeah. Those so far the names.
Larry
I've
Bird
heard
had
that were
some
a
good.
joke.
Larry Bird had some
Larry
good
Bird
Pacers
was
teams.
Decent.
Yeah.
But I think he's pretty good. He
But
didn't-
he had his
Don
team in
Staley is shooting up the list.
Did they
You
go
know?
to the Eastern Conference Finals with Bird at coach?
Yeah. Some of those Reggie Miller teams, he had some good teams. I think he got them to the finals the one year.
That was
Didn't
when
they
got
lose?
swept by the Lakers.
Wasn't that Larry Bird coaching that team? Yeah,
I think so.
But nobody's accomplished what Staley had.
Staley's up there.
Yeah.
3 gold medals, 2 national titles. That's tough.
Magic Johnson? No, I'm not going to say that. That was a debacle.
He spent his time on the bench. But see, you see, he goes through the top players, right? The best players.
Yeah.
It's a mixed bag as coach a lot of times.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other sports too. You know, the NFL guys. I don't think.
Nah.
Has there ever been a Hall of Fame player that's won a Super
Coach?
Bowl? I don't think so. As a coach.
Oh, man.
Gator Tim on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, says Kim Mulkey was a very good college player, now a great coach. Was she Don Staley level in college as a player?
I'd have to go back and look.
I don't remember. It's a really good point because it is hard to think of any examples of coaches because, okay, let's say Avery Williamson had more success. Would he have been in that category?
Avery was a really good player.
Avery Johnson.
Yeah,
Avery Johnson. Sorry, Avery Johnson.
He was
Avery
a
Williamson.
Yeah, Avery was a really good player. He was a good player.
Was he Don State? Yeah, maybe not. He wasn't. Was he great?
Did he ever play for the Olympics? Did he ever make an Olympic team? I don't think so.
Team. Yeah. He was on some
player.
really good.
Yeah,
he was the point
player.
guard of some really good Spurs team. So,
Sure.
But he wasn't a great player.
And he wasn't a great coach either.
I mean, he had his moments.
So, man, if he just could have been a great
Some
player,
good
and a
he did
great
have some
coach, he
good
would be in
teams
this
as a
Yeah, he
category.
did.
Yeah.
Definitely got beat by an 8 seed as a coach, as a 1 seed.
I'm trying to think in baseball if there's just not a lot of good examples. Yogi Berra was a pretty good manager, but I don't think he ever won a World Series as a manager. He got the Mets to the World Series one year. He managed the Yankees, some good teams, but never to the World Series. Lou Piniella was a really good player, but not 3-time Olympic gold medal kind of caliber. So I don't know.
What about Mike Ditka?
Mike Ditka, Hall of Fame player.
Hall of Fame player.
Super Bowl coach.
Okay. So,
Okay.
so you can say, Mike Ditka.
Fairly short window of success.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
hey,
the problem.
okay,
with
that
him
might be the nominee.
No, it is. But the problem with him is our lasting memory is the trade for the Ricky Williams trade, and on the front cover of Sports Illustrated and address. So it's like it was kind of it was kind of ended weird, but you can't take away from. I think he does fit in that category, right?
Yes, definitely. So Don Staley, this was the thing about last night's game. It's just rare to see UConn just not be the better team. Mm-hmm. They just got beat. They were fighting to stay in the game. They had a couple of nice runs to hang around, but it was just they weren't better. South Carolina was just flat out better than them. And so we yearned for this for years, right? Because UConn was so good, it became just kind of an afterthought. They're just going to win. They're going to kill everybody. So finally some teams have caught up. So congratulations to South Carolina for that.
Unnamed texter text line says Deion Sanders. We'll see.
He's doing a good job.
Just getting started as a coach.
So far, so
really
good.
doing a good job. Recruiting is great. So
that's Rick in Clarksville. So yes, he's on his way. So far, the recruiting fits that category.
Recruiting, you got to win. We're talking
But
2
now he's gotta
national
win.
titles.
Yeah.
What about Brian Penny Collins?
He's doing a good job.
Rooting for him?
Just want to throw some love out for Penny.
Yeah, come on.
What about Anthony, the other Penny?
It's been up and down.
Up and down. Now we're not
It's in
ready.
some hot water right now.
I was to say we're not ready to the coach thing. Still has not developed. The recruiting has been great, and also comes with some clouds, some dark clouds.
Yes,
but
there's some clouds.
There's been the forecast is definitely overcast. Okay, but I guess he's not there yet, right?
Nah.
Might be
Hey,
some
the
clouds.
hype train has him in that category.
Might be some
but
clouds with the NCAA's pace and speed. That storm's not getting here for another 4 years.
It's going to dissipate by the time it gets here. I mean, you don't have to do all that stuff now. Just do it in the open.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, but to look at how many titles Bill Russell won as a coach.
Somebody asked on our text line, how was Phil Jackson as a player?
Phil Jackson was a good player, not nearly Don
Great
Staley.
role player.
Yeah,
He's a
good,
role
solid
player.
role player.
Role players.
Got a
is the best way
ring
to
with the
describe
Knicks.
it.
Maybe 2 rings, but
he's a role player.
Role
Wasn't
player.
great. Wasn't great. It's a good cat. It's a good little discussion piece. I like it. Makes have to have our wheels turning for this. We'll come back and talk to Kansas play-by-play man. What can they do to win it all tonight? And we'll do that because we had a great conversation with him last week. We'll continue that. Of course, he's down in New Orleans. We'll do that next year on the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Join ESPN 102.5 The Game for the Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament. Benefiting Folds of Honor on May 16th at Hermitage Golf Course. Put your team together and come play with the athletes, musicians, and other local celebrities. The Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament. Sign up at theGameNashville.com/golf.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the Don't Sell Without the Intel and the Guaranteed Offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed Offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Hey y'all, it's Caroline Fenton, and I want to tell you about my friends over at 312 Pizza Company. 312 Pizza is my favorite place in town. It's family owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style, always made from scratch using secret family recipes passed down generation to generation. 312 Pizza is open every day except for Tuesday and is located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 or head to 312pizzaco.com to order. 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Vanderbilt head coach Jerry Stackhouse. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
You're darn tootin', Coach Stack. Speaking of Coach Stack, Jerry will join us from New Orleans coming up in the final hour. That's coming up at 1 o'clock, Jerry Stackhouse from New Orleans. I wonder who he'll be rooting for. Probably not the team that our next guest will be calling. Chris Haney, voice of the Jayhawks, is also down in New Orleans. Kansas. Brian Haney, excuse me. Brian, sorry about that. We had an echo, so I was thrown off by the echo. I don't think Coach Stack is going to be rooting for Kansas. I picked Kansas to win, but I didn't think it was going to be in dominant fashion. That was pretty impressive Saturday night.
It was indeed. That's as good as we can play to open the game. Ochai Agbaji was amazing to be on the arc, 6 for 6 from 3 to start the game, and actually finished with a Final Four record for three-point efficiency. David McCormick played the game of his life, and it's been rare to have both those guys hitting on the same night, but they were both so good that Kansas didn't need the shot in the arm from Remy Martin that we talked so much about last week on this show. Remy just had 3 points, but when Ochai returns to form like that, and it's been about a month waiting on him to have a lights-out shooting game, really until the Elite Eight, this team obviously can beat anybody and clearly is the team to beat tonight. But with a player like Leaky Black about to face guard him tonight and really make it difficult to get off the types of shots that Villanova allowed, other guys are going to have to step up, no doubt. And so the fact that this Kansas team is seemingly playing its best ball of the year right now, and as much as those two are stars combining for 46, it really was a total team effort. They seem dialed in. They seem confident across the board, and hopefully they can ride that momentum to one more victory.
Brian, something else we talked about last week with you was just, look, I get it. This team's a number 1 seed. It's not like, this is North Carolina's the 8 seed. Kansas is the 1 seed. But we also talked about, we've watched a lot of Kansas basketball over the years, and we've seen some pretty dominant teams that, just you look at their roster, you look at what they bring to the table, and you're like, whoa, man, they got some dudes, if you know what I mean, in air quotes. This was not one of those teams. But how they've been able to put all this together to be in this spot where tonight they could be cutting down the nets.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think about. And I told you guys it probably wouldn't be in his top 8 or 9 most talented rosters in his 19 years, Bill Self, that is, at Kansas. And he's been saying similar things, but that narrative might change if they wind up cutting down nets tonight. Maybe we look back on them and think, you know what, there was more here than we thought. When we make those types of comments, it's just looking at NBA projections, and there's probably 2 or 3 guys on this team that'll play at the next level, but none that are bona fide stars that are going to be the Joel Embiid, Andrew Wiggins types. It's a group of guys that largely were in the rankings of 50 to 312, which is where Ochai Agbaji was ranked at the time that Kansas recruited him from Oak Park High School in Kansas City. And the only reason he was ranked that low was he really wasn't involved on the AAU circuit. But because Kansas has had a little bit of a tougher road these last 3 years in the midst of the NCAA investigation, getting their normal top 10, 5-star Mickey D's guys every year has been more difficult to come by. Now, this season, in the McDonald's game you just saw last Tuesday in Chicago, they had 3 players. So next year, you get more of that influx of talent. But this group, by and large, the guys ranked in the 50s, the 90s, the 120s, and they've just collectively gotten better and better. A year ago, they were outclassed from an athleticism standpoint versus USC, and it's largely the same group. And now you hear all these coaches that Kansas runs up against saying this is the fastest team in terms of transition offense we've run into all year, probably the best transition offense in the country, and they're largely doing it with the same guys. So give them a ton of credit for all getting collectively better in the offseason, and Bill Self credit for adjusting his style to fit the roster that he had. And right now, I mean, to think that this group that 4 weeks ago lost back-to-back games at Baylor and at TCU, and we were just hoping to hold on for dear life to win the Big 12 title, to think that they're 40 minutes away from a national title, it's been a remarkable month that not many could have forecast.
We're talking to Brian Haney, Kansas play-by-play guy. Now, Brian, with UNC's big man hurt, I know he came back, but, in this game that it's usually the day after where the ankle sort of balloons up and it makes it very difficult. And you talked about Kansas's transition game. Do you think that Kansas will lean more heavy to dumping it in the middle of the paint because of Carolina's injuries and with their big man?
Yeah, that's a great point. And Derek, great to be on with you, a guy that won me many fantasy football titles back in the day. So thank you so much for having me on, man. I owe you a lot for that. But yeah, Baycott, he has played as good as anybody in the country in the paint these last 5 games of March Madness. And yet when he rolled that ankle with about 5:18 to go in the Duke-Carolina game, you had a horrible feeling that even if he was able to finish that game, he wasn't going to be close to his normal self 48 hours later. Now, as you know, there's a lot of things they do round the clock to treat these ankles. And short of Mr. Miyagi clapping his hands together and rubbing on the ankle, I think they've tried everything. But when I watched him yesterday just climbing up to the podium to answer questions, and he was walking so gingerly, and while you expect him to be better today, better than what we saw yesterday, it's hard to imagine him being his normal bouncy, springy self. I mean, this is a guy that just broke Tim Duncan's ACC double-doubles record that had stood for a couple of decades, and I mean, he's rebounding at an unreal clip. He had 21 boards the other night, and had he not gotten hurt late in the game, he probably would have had 25 at a Final Four. I mean, that's just unheard of. And so Baycott, who, believe it or not, is actually close friends with and former AAU championship teammates with David McCormick of Kansas. They know each other inside and out in terms of their post moves, and so that's an interesting storyline. But Derek, that's very astute to point out. I mean, if he's even 80% of what he normally is, and David's coming off his best performance of his entire career, that's a major edge to Kansas in a category that otherwise would have favored North Carolina.
Now, the guard play for both teams has been outstanding. Do you see that sort of as the key matchup in this Kansas versus Carolina game?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to phrase it. I think that the Baycott injury and his effectiveness is the big question, but perhaps the key matchup is what does Kansas do on Caleb Love? I mean, there's 4 guys between Davis, Manick, Love, and Baycott that all average north of 13 a game and this high fire-powered offensive attack, but they don't have much past that. And if they could get any of those guys into foul trouble, it would really favor the Hawks. But Love in particular has certainly been coming on. We all saw the huge second half he had versus Duke, finishing with 28 in the game and big 3 late. And I think for Kansas, the kid they're going to likely put on him for much of the night, and we normally switch on every ball screen, so it won't be like an exclusive one-on-one assignment, but we've seen these last 2 rounds, we've seen Bill Self go away from those switches and put DeJuan Harris on the opponent's top scoring threat on the perimeter. It was Cameron McGusty of Miami, who just hung 27 on Iowa State, had 14 in the first half, and then Self said in the halftime locker room, Juan, you're covering him up the rest of the way, and he held him to 4 points. He did some of the similar type of tactics versus Gillespie, who still had a pretty good game, but Juan wasn't exclusively on him last week. But when you guys see him tonight, he's not the most impressive guy. Like if he was walking through the airport or getting off the bus, he wouldn't pass the eyeball test to the question earlier about we don't have our typical absolute All-American, stars. He's 160 pounds, soaking wet, wiry, but as Coach likes to say, he's kind of like a fly in the ointment. It's just a nuisance, and he's hanging around you with these long arms and quick hands, and he will poke and prod, and it doesn't seem like he's much physically to stand in between you and the basket, but he finds a way. And so I'll be curious to see what he can do with Love. But this is a kid that was nowhere near, the top 75 recruits. He was barely in the top 100 when he signed with Kansas, and that was really only because he signed with Kansas. He originally signed with Missouri State, and yet he's been through so much in his life, some really tough blows off the court that he's persevered through. And if he can win a national title playing a key role in guarding Love, what a storybook finish that would be for DeJuan Harris. So mark that name down. He's not going to be the superstar that Abaji or Remy Martin or David McCormick might be, but his defensive prowess tonight could be as key to anything in this matchup for KU.
Good thing to look for. Brian Haney is with us, voice of the Kansas Jayhawks. He'll be on the call tonight. Brian, just your thoughts. There's been a lot of Final Fours in New Orleans. You always hear in these domes it may be hard to shoot with the background. That certainly wasn't the case for either Kansas or North Carolina. The big shots that hit, just kind of describe the way the layout is in the dome and just, what kind of energy there is down there, because it really looked like something.
Well, they used to curtain these big football stadiums off like in half,
right,
and then put the court on the remaining half. Now it's right there in the middle, and it's 73,000 watching. And the way they build out the stands from there is it goes probably, I don't know exact numbers, but just eyeballing it, 50 or 60 rows back.
Yeah, it just looks like a big sea of people.
Yeah, and then like 150 rows on the sidelines going back up. But it means behind that basket, as you said, it's cavernous. And for some guys, they do struggle with depth perception. Now, Ochai hit 4 threes in the first 8 minutes the other night, and I don't think the net even moved. So I'm thinking, okay, he's fine. And same deal with McCormick, who opened 5 of 6, and he said once the first 2 went down, he knew it wasn't going to be a problem. And they've been practicing on the court for the last 2 days beforehand, so it's not like it was their first time shooting there. But I think there is a relief for these guys when the first one goes in and they kind of settle in. And for Kansas, to your point, I mean, they were up 19, 12 minutes into the game, and so there was no warming up. They were red hot out the gate, and so hopefully they keep that going tonight against the Carolina team that I expect with some of their athleticism, particularly with Leaky Black. He's going to make it tougher to get some of those looks that we had to start the Villanova game.
All right, end it with this. You touched on the great history connection between the two programs going way, way back to the beginning. I mean, these two teams, these two programs have sort of had a link going back for half a century, actually more than a half a century.
Yeah, I think, to quote a T-shirt that was spotted in Lawrence the other day, Kansas basketball, the inventor of North Carolina basketball. and the reason why people say that is Dean Smith, who was really the guy that got their program to the heights that it's at today, recruiting Michael Jordan, winning multiple national titles. They now have 7 titles all time, going for their 8th tonight. Dean Smith was a Kansan. He was a guy that graduated from Topeka High School in 1948. He studied under Fog Allen, our famous coach that Allen Fieldhouse is named after, and he was on that 1952 Kansas national championship team as, a lesser known and lesser utilized player behind Clyde LaVellette and some other legends. But yeah, he then goes to Carolina, and you see Carolina take off from there. Same is true with Adolph Rupp at Kentucky, who studied under Fog Allen at Kansas. So that we all feel that the coaching tree branches out from Lawrence, even though some of these other schools have won more titles. And that's a battle cry for Kansas tonight. We may have the most wins in the history of college basketball. We may have that coaching lineage that I just talked about, but we're playing catch-up on the national titles. We are currently at 5. A 6th would come tonight if Bill Self brings their best effort, and we'd still be behind programs like, obviously, UCLA, Kentucky, and Carolina, and Duke. So trying to play catch-up a little bit, and in 19 years, Self has had him in this position at the Final Four just 4 times, in the title game just 3 times. It's time to cash in on a 2nd national title under Coach Self, so that's what's at stake here tonight.
Brian, this day must feel like it's about 4 days waiting to get there tonight. Appreciate the visit. As always, enjoy it. We'll certainly be watching here from Nashville, and we'll talk to you down the road.
I've telling most people no today because I'm just trying to be as locked in as possible. But when Elijah dangled Derek Mason out there,
oh yeah,
fantasy trophies, I said I got to do that one, and it'll break up the day a little bit. So yes, the answer is yes. Guys, have a great one. Hopefully it's a fun one tonight. If you don't have a dog in the fight, cheer for Kansas. And thanks so much for having me on twice these last few days.
All right, that is Brian Haney. He is the voice of the Kansas Jayhawks. It's going to be about an 8:15 tip tonight, 8:15, 8:20 our time for Kansas and North Carolina. We'll come back. We've got more text to read. People are still weighing in on our topic from before we spoke with Brian. We're getting some interesting and also talk a little bit more about
This Nashville.
Cousins put it in front of the score. Tomasino lofts it in. 2-0 Nashville.
This is a flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Here it is, folks, the final night of this crazy college basketball season, and FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus guarantee. Joe Rexford here to let you know. You get $150 in bonus site credit. All you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet the championship game is up to you. Carolina with another huge win over Duke, ending Mike Krzyzewski's career. You got Kansas looking really impressive against Villanova. I will say I think Kansas is the better team. That's just me. My bracket was bad. Take it or leave it. But Carolina does seem like a team of destiny after being so bad early in the season. All I know is that you should join FanDuel today with promo code Joe102 so you can place your $5 bet and score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. Again, that's promo code Joe102 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is not eligible site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy skies will linger with us for a good chunk of the day. A passing shower or two will even be possible. Won't stop temperatures, though, from warming to the upper 60s and lower 70s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hal Gill here for my good friends at Dunkin'. You know I love Dunkin', and I'm wicked happy that Dunks is all over Nashville. A newly remodeled next-gen Dunkin' location is at 1645 West Main Street in Lebanon. Of course, Dunks has the best coffee, but they have new spring items available as well. Try the salted caramel cream cold brew, shamrock macchiato made with Irish cream swirl, and the roasted tomato toast with hummus or avocado. They also have amazing chocolate croissants. So go treat yourself, go get your Dunks.
Step up to the plate with Dazed 8 as one of the only Delta 8 brands that is truly single-sourced. Quality and consistency is our guarantee. We are local and aim to provide the purest product while educating the consumer every step of the way. Stock up with Dazed next time at your local smoke shop. To browse our product line, visit dazed8.com. DAZED number 8.com.
For years, you've known Genesis as the premier jeweler here, where you can always find the most sought-after brands in fashion and bridal jewelry. Genesis carries the best of the best, brands that others aren't even allowed to carry. But now, Genesis takes it to a whole new level with a spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes. If you've ever dreamed of owning the world's most revered brand, you owe it to yourself to get to Genesis now and see watches people wait years to get. Luxury pre-owned Rolex Submariners, Hulks, Daytonas, Batmans, and so many others. We've scoured the country hand-selecting only the best for our showcases. The most popular models, the most well-cared for, the ones most in demand. So don't wait any longer. Reward yourself or someone you love today with a luxury pre-owned Rolex from Genesis. It's just another way Genesis Diamonds does whatever it takes to bring you only the world's best. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Dealing with car problems? At AutoZone, we've got the free services you need to help you get back on the road. Like our AutoZone Rewards program. Members get a $20 reward every time they spend $20 or more 5 times. And if you're looking to reward your engine, start with regular oil changes. They help protect and lubricate your engine parts and keep it running smooth. Visit us at AutoZone.com and start the job fast with free same-day store pickup and free next-day delivery. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Machine journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Back here on the DDC on this Monday morning. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hey, stop by Social Furniture at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. That's in Nashville. And enter a chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Predators take on the Blackhawks at Bridgestone Arena on Saturday, April 16th. Also, don't forget to check out their new sofas while you are there. You must be 18 years or older to enter this contest. No purchase necessary. Brian Haney, good stuff from him as always. I do believe, I haven't looked at the latest line. Kansas is the favorite. What is the line?
4.
Is it at 4? Okay. That's about what I figured without even looking today. I thought it would be right around 4. That's about right. I do wonder, though, with this run by North Carolina and them being the hot team, how many people think that North Carolina will win tonight, or are people going to go with the favorite?
I'm sure there are people picking Carolina to win. But, you know, like I mentioned to Brian, with their big man being down, it's going to be tough because, and I know they will do whatever they need to do to get them ready to play, but typically it's that 24 to, 30 hours after the game where that ankle it gets stiff. And, you can play on it. If it happens during the game, typically you can come back and play on it. And it's hurting, but it's not hurting as bad. It's when you settle down and your body calms down. And then it seems like all that blood just rushes to the ankle. And the next day, whew, boy, it's tough.
It gets swollen.
Oh, yes.
That is definitely something to look for. I think in watching what happened, and D-Mace, you've probably had this happen, when your ankle rolls inward, you got a chance. I rolled it really bad one time, and I was done for a couple weeks. But it's easier to recover from that kind of action than the other way, where you twist with the high ankle sprain, where it twists the other way. So it all depends on just how clean he rolled it. Like he was able to recover pretty quick. When he went down, I was thinking, man, he could be done for the day. And as was pointed out in the broadcast, they don't have any depth. That's the biggest problem for North Carolina. In fact, I give the kid credit. Puff Johnson comes off the bench, gets fouled, and hits a couple free throws. That was a key, stabilizing. They hung in there just long enough so Baycott, he went all the way. That's a long run to get to wherever he went to just test it out on the side and then come all the way back. So he didn't miss that much time.
Well,
How
Hubert
ridiculous is
they
Baycott,
didn't.
by the way?
They didn't.
That guy is a beast on the board.
He's getting every rebound.
Oh, yeah, he's taking everything.
Yeah, he's a little bit like Sheboy. He's so strong. He gets to every rebound.
And it doesn't seem like he's going to get the rebound, but he gets it. It's like, like this guy, he doesn't look like your true dominant big man, but he has long arms and he gets the rebound.
He had 8 offensive rebounds Saturday.
Yeah, and all year long, if you look at his numbers, he's among the best.
But you think eventually, because Carolina really, at that point before Baycott got injured, they didn't substitute. They went the whole second half up until he got injured. With 5 minutes left, I think 5-6 minutes left.
Yep, it was just over 5 minutes that he went
They
down.
did not substitute.
No, they just roll those guys. They basically play 37 to 40 minutes.
So you wonder if that's going to be if that's going to come into play in tonight with Kansas, because Kansas rotate their guys, and I guess Hubert Davis he will be forced to rotate because of his center situation, so he's going to have to rotate. The young kid's going to have to come up big.
If Baycott can't be Baycott, that's going to be trouble. That's going to be trouble for North Carolina. I just don't see a way. David McCormick is an excellent big man too. Not that you couldn't slide Manick down there, but just everybody slotted in the right spot when you have
I like Manick,
Baycott
man.
there.
I like Manick, man.
Well, if they slide Manick down there, they're in trouble, man.
Yeah.
How
old
old
is
got
he?
whatever he
He
wants.
has to be like 35.
Has anybody checked his license? Like, how old is that guy?
I think he spent I think he spent maybe like a stint overseas playing basketball and then came back.
Yeah, he can
change his name.
Exactly.
He does not apply for any of the gambling ads. Any registration. You must be a certain age. Like, there's no doubt
He has no NILs, nothing.
He's old enough. Okay, that guy looks like he's 40.
But man, when he gets to going, his jump shot on those threes are pure money. He's just a catch and shoot guy, man.
Quick release too.
Yes.
You can be right there, and it doesn't really bother
those
him 'cause he
corner
gets it up so
shots,
quick.
man. Those corner shots are tough.
Like remember that one where his heel was actually
that
above
was the
the
corner
line?
shot. Yeah,
that's as far back as you can get in the corner without stepping out of bounds.
Man.
And I love Caleb, and I meant to pun intended. I love that. I mean, I meant to say that. That guy that's the kind of guy you want on your team, right? We talk, Derek. Dogs.
Oh yeah,
that cat right there. He's the real deal.
He and Davis. I just love how they attack. They attack.
I know. They are. That's a good word, Willie. Attack. Man, they attack. But with all that being said, I think Kansas wins.
Okay, we talked about all that. Kansas still wins.
On our Blake tweeted at me and said, "What about Joe Torre?"
Joe Torre is a good one. That's a good one.
Actually a good one, right?
Yeah.
So I brought it
up. He did win an MVP as a player.
So that puts him in a category.
He puts him. He's a candidate. He's got to be in there. A better manager than player. That's saying something because he was a very good player. He was a multiple-time All-Star. Not a Hall of Fame player, but a very good player, and at his best was among the best in the game.
Had several texts about Mike Vrabel on our text line driven by Wilson County, Hyundai.com. Look, I know he won the Super Bowls, but I mean, great player. Like he's, not to disrespect, but really good player. Lasted a long time. Had a lot of success, as we know. But great. Like we're talking about.
He's not a Hall of Fame player.
So,
Don Staley. Think about Don Staley as a player. We're just looking at what are the parallels. Not one better than the other necessarily, but Don Staley. To be a 3-time Olympic gold medal, that's not like 3 years. That's 12 years of being among the best women's basketball players in the world because USA dominates the world in women's basketball. So she's one of the 12 best players in the world for 12 years. That's how good that is. And 2 national titles. So, I mean, that's just bringing a lot. So Torre, he's got the managerial part. We know that. As a player, probably just a notch below Don Staley, but a very good player.
Yeah. And he's got a little bit – hopefully he's got more work to do on the coaching resume too.
Sure. Mike Vrabel, yeah. Mike Vrabel is below Joe Torre as a player, but he was an excellent player, taking nothing away, just not a Hall of Fame player.
Derek, I agree.
Vrabel will be around for a long time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, but he's got a lot more –
oh, yeah.
He's got more work on his resume,
Right.
and he will. He will. I mean, his resume coaching will, I think, in the end – be better than his player.
Yeah. Well, and we hope he does it here. Yeah.
Right, of course. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk with TD. Speaking of the Titans, we'll talk with Teron Davenport to kick off the second hour next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Pro Golf is back in Middle Tennessee. Mark your calendars for the Simmons Bank Open, May 5th through 8th. You can see the next wave of PGA Tour stars. Be sure to visit the Sand Trap at the 14th hole and check out great local food trucks including Hattie B's, Hogwood Barbecue, Dream Burger, Padrino Pops, cocktails from Jack Daniels, and try the Sand Trap Cream Ale from New Heights Brewing Company. Purchase your tickets now at SimmonsBankOpen.com.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Willie Donick here. If you need cash for that home improvement or want to finally be credit card debt-free, how does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy, zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. Use that money to pay off all your high-interest debt or remodel your kitchen, or both. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. In fact, Loan Pronto does zero down purchases for veterans buying a new home. Call now to see what your options are. Call Loan Pronto at 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780. Or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Bring your hive together with Spirited Hive. It's Hive O'Clock. What is Hive O'Clock? It's connecting or celebrating with your hive. A time to be present and create shared memories. At Spirited Hive, we become aficionados discerning what goes best with bourbon, tequila, and vodka. Bourbon whiskey with rosemary infused with honey and lemon, tequila ginger infused with honey and lime, or vodka cranberry infused with honey and lime. Available to purchase on reservebar.com or tap room for delivery within the hour. Join us at Spirited Hive on Instagram to see what the buzz is all about.
Hey, it's Mark Howard here. You've heard me talk about my friends at Apple Collision Centers for a while now, and today I'm here with CEO Stan Harrison to tell you about how they can help ease your stress with your auto body repair.
That's right, Mark. We have 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Our people are homegrown right here in Middle Tennessee with over 75 years experience. We can help with all your auto body repair needs.
So stop by and see Stan and his team today and tell them Mark sent you, or visit them online at applecollisioncenters.com.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as your Nashville Predators take on the Ottawa Senators this Thursday night. Puck drops at 6, but the party starts at 5:30 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
NASCAR is back. Kyle Larson returns to Nashville Superspeedway a winner.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Second hour on this Monday. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you. Let's talk with TD, Teron Davenport. Talking with TD is his podcast. You should check it out. He's also the NFL Nation reporter covering the Titans for ESPN and ESPN.com. Rich Cimini just will not give up the fight in trying to get a star receiver in New York. What do you make of Rich Cimini's reporting last week and over the weekend? And, of course, A.J. Brown in the middle of all that reporting. What's your take from it?
Well, I think it's really a matter of people not understanding context. He's not saying that A.J. Brown is looking for $25 million. He's not saying that the Titans are looking to trade A.J. Brown. He's just mentioning A.J. Brown as well as DK Metcalf as guys that could be possible options that the Jets could pursue if the opportunity comes up in trade. So I don't even think it's a trade rumor. It's just looking at a situation and just, kind of putting things together. And I think it's been torn way out of context. And, it's ridiculous, honestly.
What do you think ultimately his number is going to be? I mean, do you think that number is close? Do you think it's way off? I mean, what do you think the ballpark number is going to be?
Yeah, I think it's going to be between $20 and $25 million reasonably when you got Christian Kirk getting $18 million. I think you look at Chris Godwin, you look at Mike Williams, they signed 3-year, $20 million deals. In Godwin's case, I believe it was $40 million that was guaranteed. They have the same agent in Torrey Dandy, who also represents DK Metcalf and Deebo Samuel, and I think that's pretty much where that deal is going to come into play. And remember, the average money, like the average annual salary, like that's not something that's all set in concrete. The main thing you look at is the guarantees, because you could draw something up to have a high average and it not really be what it's worth in like content, in text value.
Yeah. Look, I understand he's been hurt a lot. I think he's really good. I don't think he's elite or great, but I think he's got real upside. I mean, if the Jets are so desperate, and this guy is not to the level that the names have been thrown out there, so I understand that. I'm putting that out there on the front end of this, but why wouldn't they have tried to go trade for Devontae Parker? I mean, if he was available for Miami, they had a plethora of receivers. Why would you let them trade him to the other team in the division in New England rather than yourself?
Well, you kind of diffused your own statement by saying that he's not to their level. I mean, Devontae Parker has been a frustrating draft pick for the Dolphins, and it's a different situation when you're talking about Devontae Parker as a consolation prize to not being able to get Tyreek Hill. That's a pretty big difference.
Yeah,
so
that's a big gap.
I mean, there's not much upside there, and that's not something that would have really moved the needle for them receiver-wise anyway.
Well, I'm gonna leave the A.J. Brown talk to Darren and Willie because I don't want anybody saying that I said something about A.J. Brown that I didn't say. But in the draft, TD, there are several receivers, and you brought up several that could be under the radar guys that could fall to the Titans in the third round. But I am looking, and I'm gonna say his name, and Jameson Williams out of Alabama. I mean, this kid is unbelievable. I think he is the best receiver in the draft. Obviously, he got hurt in the national championship game and tore up his knee. But do you think if he's there for the Titans, and I know I'm a big proponent of, hey, listen, don't draft a hurt guy, but this young man with his upside, if he falls to you, do you think the Titans pull the trigger and take him?
I don't think they do, because I think they need somebody that's going to be impactful right now. And as it looks right now, October, November maybe will be when he will be expected to be back. But then you have that whole phase that you got to work through as far as being back from injury. But when you look at Jameson Williams, and you kind of touched on it last week when you were talking about vertical threat and also just the ability to just, be a home run hitter, he has that because, yeah, he has the speed to where he'll run by most people. But then on top of that, he's a guy that, he could find that little soft spot in the zone, and he catches it, and he'll take it the distance. So he presents a lot more than just a speed option vertically, and he's a serious problem as far as how he kills angles and things like that. So, he would be someone that would be very intriguing. I just don't know that they take him being as though they need immediate impact.
Now, it seems like the Titans at this point are done with their free agent signings. And I know there will be things that kind of come here and there, not just with the Titans, but with other teams and signing players as they get released or as the season offseason continue to go on. But how do you feel they did from a free agent standpoint, other than signing their own guys?
Yeah, I think they did a decent job. I'm a little confused as to how Dane Cruikshank was able to leave at only $1 million, for his contract with the Bears. But I think when you look at, if you include the trade for Robert Woods, that's something that kind of offsets their inactivity, on the receiver side of things, free agent-wise, and I think that was good. So overall, I think they did a solid job. They went out and got a tight end, and I think could come in and help, and Austin Hooper. I think they did kind of fall short on the free agent offensive lineman side of things, and I know Mike Vrabel said that he thinks Jamarco Jones has his best football ahead of him, and he could be a starter at left guard. So I guess in their book they filled it, but I don't think they did a solid job as far as bringing in a veteran right tackle or swing guy. And that's what Jones is supposed to be. But I look at Morgan Moses, a 3 years, $15 million deal, and that's one that, not to say that the Titans could have got that same deal, but I mean, I think that's a pretty good offensive lineman at a very, very nice rate that would have helped that line.
Teron Davenport is with us. We're talking Tennessee Titans, talking with TD. So, TD, the more you compile in terms of just data and knowledge about this upcoming draft class, are you liking it more as a fit for the Titans or less compared to past years?
I mean, I like it more because you look at the areas of need and it's deep there. And then plus, they're finally in a position where they could get a quarterback of the future at pick 26. I think Desmond Ridder will be there. So if they want to get their future guy, that's possible. So I think that's the bonus, and that you have that option to where you could do that. But tight end, DB, receiver, offensive line, like it's deep in all of those groups. So that's a good thing for them.
So how would you feel if you really like Ridder? And I heard Joe Rexroad make this point. I have to agree. Like, you've got to really think, man, we can't pass this up. Because otherwise, I still see a team that could really use a boost from the first-round pick regardless of the position. And when you're picking a quarterback there, it's more of a project for a year or two down the road. So that would be a dilemma. So tell us more about Ridder.
Yeah, well, I think when you look at Ridder, he has a lot of similarities to Tannehill. He said it himself as far as the mobility, which is something that Mike Vrabel has placed an emphasis upon. And then if you look at just being able to have that accuracy on the move, that's when he's at his best. He could push the ball down the field. They've always talked about, wanting to have more chunk plays, and that was something that Desmond Ridder, he really made it a point to show that he can be a vertical passer last year, and he did it right from the start. And then you look at the Notre Dame game, he threw the ball down the field well. You get a guy that's a mature player. He's used to being the face of the franchise, so to speak. That's what he was at Cincinnati. And then also you just have that like the familiarity as far as Cincinnati's coach and Mike Vrabel. He was the best man at Vrabel's wedding. They're really good friends. So I think that's going to give you, a very honest and in-depth pipeline as far as knowing his ability. So I think Ridder is, in my opinion, the most NFL-ready quarterback in this draft class. I think he is the one that could come in and play right away, and he had a lot of snaps there at Cincinnati.
So I'll go back to the central question. You're John Robinson. You're sitting there, and he's there. How do you weigh whether to take him or let's say there's another guy or two that could help you immediately and try to keep you in this window here? That's a dilemma.
Yeah, I think you got to look at the depth of the other positions and what you could do as far as being able to get a guy at that position in the third round at pick 90 that could obviously not give you the same impact, but give you some type of good impact. So that's really how it comes down to it. And the thing that you have to look at, and it's something that I mentioned before, and it's not really being considered, next year they could get out of the Tannehill deal. And next year they'll have that Jeffrey Simmons deal looming. So, if you could save a bunch of money, have a guy come in that is ready to play right away, maybe not play right away, but just sit back and kind of learn from a guy who he clearly respects and has a similar skill set to, I think that could set them up for 2023, being able to absorb the high contracts of what A.J. Brown will have, what Jeffrey Simmons will have. And then also you look at David Long and Amani Hooker. Those guys, those are going to be deals. Nate Davis is going to be another deal. So you could save some money, still get, solid quarterback play in Ridder. So that could be a way that they're looking at it to kind of justify it.
That'll do it. Teron, really appreciate it as always. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next Monday.
No problem. You guys take it easy.
Mm-hmm. Teron Davenport, Talking with TD is his podcast. You should check it out every Wednesday when it drops. Of course, he is a part of all of our platforms throughout the course of the day. We'll continue the discussion on the other side. What is the number? Where should the Titans be looking? And by the way, still getting some I've got a couple now that I really think are good ones. Still guesses coming in on our conversation back in the first hour. We'll do all that on the other side here on the DDC ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year one?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and Nashville SC's new home, Geodis Park, is nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Secure your season tickets now. Come on and grab a seat at NashvilleSC.com/22ticks.
Realizing Geico's great service and licensed agents are available at your fingertips is like realizing the plastic piece that comes with your pizza isn't a tiny doll table. It's to keep the box from touching the pizza.
Hey, the pizza's stuck to the box. Where's that little plastic thing?
Dolly needed it for her tea party.
It's something that's been right there in front of you all along, like the dedicated Geico claims team available to you in the event of an accident to get you back on the road quickly, or how your smartphone charges faster when you put it on airplane mode.
Wow, what if I put it on rocket mode?
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico's industry-leading app lets you pay your bill, file a claim, manage your policy, or summon help when you need it. Or how those holes in your shower caddy are there so you can store your shampoo bottles upside down.
Showers happen fast when you're not waiting on shampoo.
Great service. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
At Copper Branch, they live life to the fullest. Food is your energy and your life. Located in the heart of downtown Nashville, their goal is to serve you, your friends, and family quality, great-tasting, plant-based power foods. Visit Copper Branch at 601 Church Street for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with convenient and validated parking during library hours, and download their app for curbside pickup. Or come out for songwriter and live music nights several times throughout the week to empower, energize, and feel your best. Visit Copper Branch today.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing, towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types of towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text the game at 615-737-1025.
Dealing with car problems? At AutoZone, we've got the free services you need to help you get back on the road. Like our AutoZone Rewards program. Members get a $20 reward every time they spend $20 or more 5 times. And if you're looking to reward your engine, start with regular oil changes. They help protect and lubricate your engine parts and keep it running smooth. Visit us at AutoZone.com and start the job fast with free same-day store pickup and free next-day delivery. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
This is what I know coming up in about a half an hour. Reds tickets on the line. Keep that in mind, but you'll have to participate. You'll have to jump in on our phone line. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025 and tell us what you know. This is what I know. I think we've got a good one on our text line. Really, I think this is the one. Boy, I wish Ryan Porth was here for this discussion.
Ooh.
Really do. Dusty Baker. Does a Dusty Baker absolutely fit that mold?
Well, he was a great player.
Great player.
You don't think he's a great manager?
Yeah, he's a great manager. But he's a lower tier than Joe Torre on both fronts. He never won an MVP as a player, and he's never won a World Series as a manager.
He's been to several.
Yeah.
He took a Houston team last year
outstanding.
that nobody predicted was going to get there.
Of course. Look, I am a huge Dusty Baker fan. Huge. But I would still put Don Staley's credentials above.
He is.
And I would put Joe Torre slightly above Dusty Baker. Dusty was probably a better player for a longer time. Joe Torre was a top-level player at his best. Like I said, MVP. Dusty Baker, I don't think ever came close to winning an MVP as a player on a lot of really good teams.
Okay, then I'll try this one on you. How about Ron on our text line? Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr.
Steve was a good player.
Complimentary player.
Yeah, he was
on a lot of great teams.
He was a good,
excellent role player.
He was a great 3-point shooter, but a good player.
Never sniffed an Olympic team, right?
No.
He was never considered for an Olympic team.
But he wasn't was he a starter on the Bulls team?
Yeah, I think he started on a couple of those teams at the end. Played his role really, really
exactly.
well.
He was a really good role player.
Yeah.
He's a better coach than he was a player.
Another guy that was brought up on Twitter from Paul, Larry Brown. Again, not a great player, but played on a lot of good teams. He was an Olympic gold medalist as a player. Won a college national championship as a coach. So he was good, but Don Staley is still tough. It's tough to beat. Yeah. Bill Russell, as we looked up, won 2 titles as a player coach.
Bill would probably be the person that's comparable to Staley.
Right, just because of his greatness as a player. He's one of the 5 best all time, arguably. And 2 titles as a player coach. Of course, he got to coach himself.
But do we really view him as a coach, though?
Yeah, he was the coach.
I mean, he was the coach.
He was the coach.
You got to give it to him.
Title.
And when it says head coach,
exactly.
Bill Russell.
Right. When we talk about great coaches, does anybody ever bring up Bill Russell? Ever? When we bring up great coaches?
Because it was so short. His stint was so short.
And then he became a coach later and didn't win a whole lot when he retired as a player. He didn't win a whole lot at that time. So
I think that one's a stretch. I think we're trying to force the.
That's why that's what we're pointing out in this whole discussion is how unique Don Staley is, because when you're coaching college kids, you're recruiting the team. You have nothing to do with playing on the court. Like Bill Russell was the player coach, but he's one of the greatest players of all time.
Well, you got to count it.
Here's what a good coach does. Put me in. I'm one of the greatest ever.
That's a good
Put
coach.
me in, coach. I'm putting myself in.
Put me in, coach.
Okay, coach. Bill, go in. Okay, coach.
What about Pete Rose?
Never won as a player manager.
I know.
Never even won a division.
I know. I just want to see what you guys would say. All right, there's been several of these on our text line. And I'm going to say this with all due respect, right? Because everybody loves. But I don't think this one is going to fit this category.
Caleb Love?
Nope. Oh, he's really good. Really good. We'll see how he is tonight. Terry Crisp.
Crispy.
Oh,
Crispy.
Now,
Crispy was an energy guy. He was a role player.
Right.
A great player. On winning teams, as we know, won cups. But I don't think he's the player.
I think it's kind of like a Steve Kerr, right? But
he falls more in that line.
Yes. Yeah. And he is. I think there are only 14 people that are on the Stanley Cup as a player and as a coach, and he's one of them. So it's a rare company, but he was not a great – he'd be the first to tell you. He was not a great
red hair
player. Yeah.
Great curly red hair, but, yeah, just I don't – he's not
that should put him a notch up.
Just that should
with
move
that
him
alone.
up a little
bit.
Yeah,
exactly.
I still would have liked to have seen what he could have done as a coach had he not gotten the quick trigger. Unfortunately, like a lot of organizations do. But they had an early exit to the playoffs. I think it was his 3rd year as the coach of the Flames, and they let him go. You look at his record. They won a cup. They won a President's Trophy. You got the quick hook, man. Just give the guy a few more years. They could have won another one.
What about Tim Corbin? Anybody see him at Ohio Wesleyan? I did. What about him?
We'll have to look up the college stats for the Battling Bishops of Ohio Wesleyan. That's where my parents went to school.
Yeah, that's where my best man at my wedding pitched in college, Ohio Wesleyan. I think him and Tim just missed each other, by the way. Just missed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know Kevin McHale was the coach. He was in Minnesota. Yeah, you're right. He's a coach in Minnesota.
Do a lot of
Nah, but he had
some good teams.
Garnett.
It's some good teams.
Kevin Love.
He coached for the Rockets, right?
Yeah, he coached the Rockets.
He
got canned.
Wasn't he? Was he GM with Minnesota?
He has been a GM. Yeah.
Yeah, coach and GM with Minnesota. Yeah.
Hey, Wilt Chamberlain.
Doc Rivers. We forgot Doc Rivers.
Oh, Doc Rivers is a good one. Wilt Chamberlain coached the San Diego Conquistadors to 34 wins in 1974 in the ABA.
Conquistadors. Was that? Did they play against Jackie Moon?
Another great player, coach.
Another great player, coach Jackie Moon.
Player, coach, owner, mascot.
Everything.
Trying to run a business here, people.
There's our answer right there. That's the winner. Alan Smyrna says Casey Jones.
Casey Jones, yeah.
It's a pretty good one right there.
I have to look up Casey as a player. I thought he was a role player as a player, but I don't go back that far.
Lenny Wilkins.
Lenny Wilkins.
We brought up
Lenny, no question. He's got the most wins of any NBA coach, but he was one of those player coaches for a long time.
The point of this whole discussion is just to show you what Don Staley has done is pretty rare.
How about Jim Harbaugh?
Jim Harbaugh was not a
was he a Steve Kerr player?
Jim Harbaugh was a good player.
Really
good player.
Exactly,
yes.
a really good player.
Yes.
Right? Was he a great player? That's what we're talking
so
about.
Ditka,
He wasn't a great player.
Mike Ditka in football is still our best candidate from the NFL, don't you think?
Yep. Yes. Agreed. Yep.
I'm trying to think of college football players who became great college football coaches. There's probably a few of those somewhere in there.
Mike Singletary, no.
Cue the line. All I can think of is can't win with him.
Can't win with them. Can't play with them.
We want winners.
We want winners. Did he send Vernon Davis to
that's where it came from. Yeah.
During the game? I mean, literally sent him to the locker room during the game. Like, get out of here.
Jerry Sloan.
He was a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but he never won a championship in Utah.
Yeah. Never won a championship.
Had really good teams. Great
No,
teams.
he was a great coach. Was he a great player?
He's a really good player.
Again,
very good. But
again,
Phil
really
Jackson, played for a long time.
A really good player. Again, not great. He was a great coach, though. I mean, what about Rudy T. Rudy T.
Try that again, Darren. Tomjanovich.
Yeah. Say that fast 3 times. He was probably more known for the fight.
Yeah.
than anything.
Getting smoked by a...
Getting smoked.
Breaking his face.
Getting smoked. That came from Billy. Getting smoked.
There's a book. There's a whole book on him getting hit by Kermit. Is it Kermit Washington was the guy that hit him?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was bad.
So it's really hard to find a great example. A couple people brought up Pat Summit on our text line. Again,
not quite the player.
As a player, again, just not. It's got to be both. It's got to be great as a player, great as a coach, and that is a hard combination to find, because a lot of times the great player does not go on to coach. That's how it usually works out. All right, we'll come back. Get back into the A.J. Brown discussion. And, Derek, I know you. I want you to talk long and hard about this. But why is Rich Cimini? Rich Cimini's a really good journalist, right? Why is he bringing this up so much?
We've had him on the show many times.
I know, we have. So let's get into that. Don't forget, This Is What I Know, coming up in about 17 minutes. We've got a great prize attached to it. You're listening to the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jared Stillman and company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life. Spring has sprung, which means it's time to renew your home with Social Furniture. It's their Spring Fling sale, where all furniture is up to 50% off. That's right, up to 50% off on top name brands such as Serta, Sealy, Simmons, Caracol, Bernhardt, and Woodhouse. At Social Furniture, you'll find new bedroom furniture, mattresses, and sofas, all up to 50% off. Spring into Social Furniture today on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Your ankles, feet, and knees help you walk, run, jump, and climb. Because of the stress placed on these joints, arthritis may occur, and lower limb injuries are common injuries treated by Houston Clinic Orthopedics. Their specially trained orthopedics can treat your pain non-surgically with non-inflammatory medications to reduce swelling and orthotics that support the pads, arch, or ankle joint. Your doctor may recommend a brace, custom shoes, or physical therapy as part of your treatment. Visit tn.houston.com to book an appointment for a physician to discuss your lifestyle, your goals, and determine the best treatment to fit your needs.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and the final night of this crazy college basketball season is here, and FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus guaranteed. That's right, you'll get $150 in bonus site credit, and all you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet the championship game is up to you. You can choose from the money line, totals, prop bets, and so much more. Kansas taking on North Carolina. What a magical run it's been for the Tar Heels. But I think it ends on Monday. I think Kansas has what it takes to get it done. But you take it any way you want to take it. Make sure you join FanDuel today with promo code ROB. Then you can place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. Once again, that promo code is ROB, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The Nashville Sounds start their season tomorrow. A 6-game homestand at First Horizon Park. Durham Bulls in town. Of course, the affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. Catch all the action. Sounds Baseball. ESPN 94.9 tomorrow night, starting with pregame 6:20, first pitch 6:35.
Loving it. Baseball's coming. Let's go.
Sounds Baseball on ESPN 94.9, presented by 312 Pizza, Farm Bureau Health Plans, Spirited Hive, and Dazed Delta 8. Can't wait. Yeah, baseball is here.
Yeah, Mets have their top 2 starters out. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Hey. Some things never change.
DeGrom and Scherzer on the shelf.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for playing.
Money well spent.
Already officially eliminated. No, that's not true.
Hey, man, they only, 2 games in? No.
Not true. Okay.
Y'all eliminated already.
Didn't even get to the first game.
Exactly.
They're both hurt. Come on.
Oh, man.
I drafted 0 Mets players, so just putting that out there. There's been a flurry of text all saying the same thing, and I think they are right. It's on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. The answer is Steve Spurrier. Spurdog.
Yeah.
On the college ranks.
That's pretty good. You're right. He would be number 1.
Heisman Trophy. Great coach.
National champions.
Yep.
Steve Spurrier. That's it.
He's number 1.
On the college level. Now, remember, he was the quarterback for the first Buccaneers team.
Yeah. And he was the coach for the Washington football team, or the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. We leave the NFL.
Put that on
if we
his
leave
resume.
the NFL out of the discussion, you can even count as USFL coaching. That would be pretty good.
Yeah,
But
he doesn't even count Washington. He doesn't even put it on his resume.
Hey,
so.
boys, we're going to be finished by 1, so we meet tea time.
Willie knows the whole South Carolina
Yeah.
story. Boy, we'll never forget that day on the show. Or I guess after the show, when somebody pulled us aside and said, yeah, I got a buddy that lives in Columbia, South Carolina. Spur Dog's going to be the new coach at South Carolina. We're like, what? Like, yeah, they've already given him a membership at Augusta. What? Okay. All right, man.
He's in.
No, I'm telling you, this is done. It's a done deal. I'm like, all right, man, we love you. I don't think we can go on that. I mean, your buddy in Columbia. Yep, it happened like 48 hours later.
Yeah.
We're like, whoa.
What a character.
South Carolina's going to land Steve Spurrier? Yep, they did. So I think that is one in this category.
He's number
I
one.
feel very comfortable putting Spurrier in with Don Staley in this category.
If you're only counting college accolades.
Well, you can only count Staley's.
Well, what were we
Well,
talking
she was
about?
a great WNBA
Yeah,
player.
WNBA, but we're talking college.
But it's
college
really
coach.
Coach, yeah.
Yeah. WNBA.
But Steve Spurrier was not the level of player as Don Staley.
Not in the professional.
Definitely not in the pros. Just look at some films of the 1976 Tampa Bay Bucks.
Oh, they were horrible. It didn't matter who was quarterback
Right.
at Tampa back then. They were horrible.
Well, he's got it in the coaching category, but
Yes.
you're right. Probably, but look, you win the Heisman, and I know it was just in college, but I think
that's
he's right there. He's right there,
yeah.
man. He's right there in the discussion for sure. So good stuff. Tons of responses on our text line and people tweeting at us. I think that is a really
It's a fun topic.
It is.
Kill some time.
So, do we really think A.J. Brown? So, Teron said 20 to 25 million. It's been tossed out there. Could command 25 million a year. What are your guys' thoughts on A.J. Brown actually commanding that type of money in a year?
Hey, if a team, I've always said you are worth as much as a team wants to pay you. Whether you, Willie, or anybody out there believes he's worth it or not, if the Titans believe he's worth X amount of dollars, that's what they're going to pay him. If the Jets or anybody else feel he's worth, picks and, $20-some, then that's what you're worth. Now, if you're just looking at it purely from a number standpoint, here's what the Titans' rebuttal would be. He hadn't been a top 10 receiver in yardage since he's been in the NFL. He's missed games due to injury. He hasn't been that elite player that many may think he is at this point of his career. But I do believe the biggest is the injury aspect of it, and do I want to pay? It might, it might end up being just a 3-4 year deal. I think that would be the smartest for both parties. Do a shorter deal, guarantee him his money, and if it works out, great, you re-sign him. If it doesn't, then, you can move on from the deal. But
what does it matter in the NFL, though? Like, it's not baseball, hockey, or the NBA.
Well, if you do
these deals, typically, when you look at the years, after, like, the first year or two, they're usually all voided anyway, for the most part.
Well, when you sign these 5-year deals, it's really essentially a 3-year deal. Or less, because they can get out of it.
Yeah.
If you sign a 3-year deal, then you're more inclined to get the full 3 years if you don't get injured, because it's a shorter window. I don't know if the Titans would be willing to do that. And I don't know if AJ would be willing to sign it unless it was 3 years, $75 million and, 50 of it or 55 was guaranteed. Then you're like, okay, that's a really good deal. But the market dictates that because he's young, because he's had 2,000-yard seasons, because he's eclipsed the double-digit touchdowns his second year, I believe, the market's going to – I don't look at what Christian Kirk got, because if you look at it truly, it's it's not the deal that we see on paper, because they can kind of get out of that deal, I think, after year 1 or 2. So it's not really the whole number. But based upon what he's done, the market's going to say you're in between 17 and 22.
I think.
I don't think the 20, unless he has a 1,400 yard season, 10 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns, anything above 9 touchdowns, 1,200 yards, then the price goes up. But if he gives you what he's given you the last 3 years, then, again, if the Titans want to pay him $22 million, then $25 million, then he's worth that, because that's what they want to pay him. But based upon the numbers, and if they're the same going by the trend, then he's between that 17 and 22 million.
It's really a unique thing when you get down to it, because you've used this phrase, Derek, and I think it's dead on. He's the best wide receiver that they have had since you.
Uh-huh.
And so relative to all, and it's really, there's nobody in between. There's nobody even close. And so those
that
guys
they drafted, nobody that they drafted.
Right.
I think Nate Washington, really,
all due respect to some of those
guys,
guys,
really good receiver for the Titans.
but a guy that you want to give that second contract to me, it's a no-brainer. You don't let guys like A.J. Brown go. But then when you turn and look at the numbers, there are issues there, right? He's missed some games, and he's played hurt. He's had nice years, but you don't look at the numbers and say, oh, my gosh, 1,300 yards, 12 touch. He's had great games. He is a difference maker that they've got to have, but finding the exact number to pay him is the tricky part. But all that being said, to me, you've got to have him. The numbers will work themselves out. They're going to get a deal done. You just don't let guys like that go.
No,
you work so hard to finally draft a guy that you like that is a game changer. You find a way to make it work, but that doesn't mean the negotiation is easy. But they're not trading him.
But they always seem to, and this has just been the Titans. I don't know why, but they've always seemed to, not re-up with some of these guys, that they draft.
But there's never been somebody like him, though.
That keeps going. Even Corey Davis, I felt they should have re-upped with him.
I thought so, too, but even he hasn't been as game-changing as AJ.
Who's bit him in the butt? Adoree Jackson? Corey Davis?
No, we're talking about wide receivers.
No, we're talking about wide receivers.
Even Jonnu Smith, which everybody thought would come back and bite him, hasn't.
No, is that? But what people fail to realize is this, and I think I need to tell you guys this, because I think y'all missing this. When players typically go to another team, because you said it about Tyreek Hill, don't think he's going to get those numbers that he got in Kansas City.
It's a different equation.
It's a different quarterback. It's a different system. You got to learn a system and everything else. They just run different. Had Jonnu and Corey stayed here, their numbers would have been better. Because, again, they had a rapport with Tannehill. They know the offense. They're comfortable with what they're doing. They just go out there and play. Jonnu had to go to New England, and just about every receiver that has went to New England except Randy Moss, they've struggled some to pick up the offense. So
tight ends struggled in New England.
They haven't had the numbers that they had at their previous stops. They've been good, but they hadn't had the numbers. Had Jonnu stayed here, his numbers would have been a lot better.
I agree.
Yeah, but they weren't willing to give him $50 million.
That's the hard part, is because the market's good. The market is good for wide receivers who can make a difference. So it's tempting, like Corey Davis, to go out and take a bigger paycheck. But there's that X factor when you change the equation, you go to a different place, different quarterback, all those things you just said.
But you're always chasing. You're always chasing now, because you let Corey Davis go. You went and got Julio. Well, the money you gave Julio, you could have gave to Corey. So now you're chasing. Now you're going to get Robert Woods. You got to pay him. And you're praying and hoping that it works out. They're always chasing. You can't keep chasing. You just got to, hey, listen, we got this guy. We know what he's about. He's a really good player. Let's keep him.
I was for that. Before I knew everything about Julio Jones and what they wanted to do there, at the time, I would have signed up for that. Not that I blame them for going for it with Julio. It was a worthy gamble, and it was a bust. But with AJ, to me, he's even more valuable than Corey Davis, even at his best.
Well,
and so you've got to have him. But
I'm going to go to this. If you look at AJ's numbers, he disappeared a lot. And I don't know if that was because of the game plan or him. I don't know what, and I'm not going to sit here and speculate what it was. But if you look at his numbers in all of these games, a lot of these games, with the exception of 3 or 4 of them last year, he sort of disappeared.
He had some games where he dropped some passes.
All right, we got it. I know we could go. We will. We'll continue the discussion. But Willie, we're going to come back with This Is What I Know, and maybe it's on A.J. Brown. Who knows? But first, you're going to tell us about Loan Pronto.
All right. Loan Pronto. How great would it be to wipe out all of the credit card payments? Oh, you know that would be a great thing. Or other high-interest loans that you might have. So imagine your monthly cash flow without these payments. You can do it today with Loan Pronto's debt consolidation refi. Loan Pronto has got great stuff. They can help you use the equity in your home to your advantage. It's a smart financial move. Here's the deal. Your home's value is up. Inflation has been great for your home, so you can refinance your mortgage now, take money out to pay off all of the credit cards or any other of those debts. Eliminate PMI charges. Pay off personal loans or other high-interest debt. So many examples of how they're doing this. So why pay 20% interest when you can consolidate it into one low payment with a mortgage APR in the 3s? Do it through Loan Pronto. The debt consolidation, fast and easy refi is amazing. Homeowners who do it save an average of $800 a month. Do it now. You can even skip your next house payment. So call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com, 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Want the latest on the Predators from the people that cover them?
Heck of a year so far for the Predators. They've been so much fun to watch.
Join Robbie Stanley for Preds Insiders every Monday at 6.
I feel probably as good about this group of 6 on D.
Presented by Dr. Kelly Rice on Smashville's Best Sports Talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy skies will linger with us for a good chunk of the day. A passing shower or two will even be possible. Won't stop temperatures, though, from warming to the upper 60s and lower 70s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey everybody, it's me, Chase McCabe, and I'm so excited to be talking about my go-to drink when I'm out and about, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball is the first and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. It's an original, just like me, the suit. I take Screwball as a shot, but it's great on the rocks, in an old-fashioned, an espresso martini, and many more. So next time you're out and about, ask for Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022, Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, but it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters, so make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give two poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform. Some things you just know.
I have to know. Do you think everybody knows?
When you know, you just know. It's time to set the record straight. Join the fun on This Is What I Know with Darren, Donick, and Chase.
We do. 615-737-1025. That's our phone line. Driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. All you have to do is call in and tell us what you know. Best one to win a pair of tickets to see the Predators and Sharks next Tuesday at Bridgestone Arena. That's April 12th. Who would like to start? Not at once. All right, I'll start.
Go ahead, start, Darren.
I don't know if you guys saw. Murray State found their next coach. It's a familiar name. Steve Prohm is back at Murray State as their head coach.
Okay.
I think that's a fantastic hire after spending, I think, the last 6 years at Iowa State. Obviously, he left Murray State to take the Iowa State job, and now he's back at Murray because we know McMahon is at LSU, which, by the way, currently does not have a roster. I'm not even kidding. Have you guys seen?
Yeah.
Like LSU between the transfer has killed them, but basically the entire roster transferred or they're moving on. They graduated or they're going to be in the draft.
But you guys love the transfer portal. You think it's great?
Hey, they're not the one caught on
players.
wiretap talking about good-ass offers. So I think they have every right to leave. This whole mess that they're going to be in, isn't their fault. So this is a good exception.
They have no players right now. They have no players. Well, I think the four of us could try out. And
we would
maybe
make it.
the team.
Yeah.
As of this moment, if we were to walk in there, we would be in the starting five.
We're the leading scorers.
Currently,
not even just
today.
Somebody has to play.
According to our sources, today we would be starting for LSU. If we went there right now, we would be starting. So that's what I know. Steve Prohm back at Murray, and LSU has no players.
Oh, wow. Man. Y'all want to go try out?
Okay. you guys? Hey, we're live in Baton Rouge tomorrow.
Hey, we're gonna go try out. Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
It's a Preds game.
They ought to do that. They ought to have. They ought to have the LSU student body come out and have tryouts, just to have a team for the summer.
I think Darren and I might be the only ones here with the NCAA eligibility. I think Derek, so you've used up all yours. Willie, you've used up all yours.
Well, I played only 3 years of college basketball, so somewhere in there, do I still have a year with
No,
COVID
you don't.
and
we
everything?
can get a grad year, right? Like
Yeah,
they have
just
grad
wondering.
programs
Yeah,
for
maybe.
broadcasting.
There were players this year that were in their 6th year playing. So because of all the
It's unbelievable.
waivers
Yeah.
and exceptions
I've
they've
lost
made.
track
So yes.
of how many years. It's like it seems like you never run out of time.
John Fulkerson's
I can use
almost
my
made.
red shirt year, can I? I didn't red shirt, but can I go back and say, well, I should have been red shirted?
Yeah, with COVID, everything's in the mix.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can make a case.
Exactly. I can say, hey, listen, I wanted to come back, but COVID happened. So, okay, this is what I know. The Memphis Grizzlies, without their best player, John Morant, is still terrorizing people.
They beat
They
the Suns.
can't be beat.
They're
When
like
Ja
they're like
Morant,
20 and
yes,
2, I think.
without him in the lineup. When Ja comes back, y'all better watch out.
And he wasn't even the only guy missing.
This is my sleeper pick to win the NBA championship.
Are they a
Grizzlies.
sleeper? Are they a sleeper?
They're not
at
a
this
sleeper,
point?
but I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of the experience like the Suns have and some of these other teams. Golden State, even though Curry is out, but he will be back for the playoffs, they said. Teams like that have been there, that understands it. But Memphis, I mean, they are hard to beat they're hard to beat with Ja. But when Ja's not in there, it seems like they even elevate their play even more.
Yep. They're going to be the 2 seed in the West.
You look at some teams that have made runs the last few years, it's possible. I think it's time to have the belief that Memphis could win it.
Well,
this is what I know. Thank you, Seattle Kraken, for beating the Dallas Stars last night, because have you looked at the standings the last couple of days? Woo! Yep. It is tight in the West. You better have your act together. The Predators have won 6 of their last 10, but yet they have lost ground in the standings. It is a razor's edge. Massive game tomorrow. I've been saying massive a lot.
Yeah, that's your word.
It's a big, big game tomorrow against Minnesota. Man, it's the next version of the biggest game of the year.
No doubt. Let's go to Al to get things started. Al, what do you know?
Hello.
Go ahead,
Hello,
Al.
You're on.
Yeah.
What do you know?
What do you know?
I haven't called the station for several years, but I have got this is what I know, and this is what I suspect.
Okay.
What I know is that the Titans are going to draft Jamison Williams, the receiver from Alabama.
Okay.
This is because he's hurt. That's what the Titans do. They find a player that's hurt and they take him. And my suspicion is that there are moles working for the Titans. These moles are working as secret agents for other teams, and they're giving Robinson a lot of bad advice. And this is why the Titans have mangled the last 2 drafts and made bad trades and released players all over the place and signed players that they shouldn't have signed, and it's been a mess. So that's
mangled.
What I suspect.
Okay,
but
all right, Al.
That might be a little bit too far, but that's what I suspect anyway.
Don't be a stranger. That was good. That was good. Mangled.
Stuff.
I like that word. Mangled.
We have moles.
Moles.
There's some dissension.
Is it like Caddyshack? I mean, what do they need to do? Blow up some areas over there?
It worked. It didn't work so well with the Gophers, but maybe moles would be better.
There's that guy that is sitting in his room.
Yeah.
Robinson draft this guy.
Let's go to Adam. What do you know?
Yeah, man. So this is what I know. So one of my favorite things to do is to see a youngster doing something special that gives them confidence, whether it be sports or karate, whatever. What I like to see even more is fathers that stand in the background every time their kid does something awesome and is proud. Darren, I'm calling you on this one, but this is what I know. If your kid's going to do something like karate or mixed martial arts, and they're growing up and they got the hormones and all that, you got to watch how you talk to them, man, because they're going to hit that, boy going into man stage, and all it takes is one smart thing. They think you said something smart and you're getting kicked in the chin. So just be careful with what you're letting your kids do, man.
Hey, I'm telling you this right now on this day.
Good advice. Hey, be careful. I may kick you right in the face.
I'm telling you this right now. If DJ ever tried that, hey, listen, I brought you in this world. As my mama would say, I brought you in this world. I could take you out.
That's when they learn what old man strength is.
Exactly. But no.
Well, man. I did say that. I mean, he just graduated to red belt, and I said, I'm so proud of him, but I feel like every belt that he moves up to, he's getting that much closer to black belt. I feel like my days are, they're winding down. Like, he's going to be able to kick my butt soon. Like, that's.
Do you need to start a training program yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Darren, come on.
Probably so. All right, let's go to Eric. Eric, what do you know?
This is what I know. So, guys, I heard a report over the weekend that Ben Simmons has filed his grievance against the Philadelphia 76ers, guys, citing mental health issues. And, again, I don't want to question that or anything like that, guys, because that stuff like that is very, very serious. But I've heard reports over the weekend there was a couple of incidents that, again, I have no idea if it's true, but it makes me wonder when I hear stuff like this. There was a report that he was so desperate to get out practicing with the team and playing with the team, there were reports that he faked COVID. Again, I have no idea if that's true, but if that's true, that's disgusting. And I heard that allegedly when he came back to be on the bench with the Nets against the Sixers, that he deliberately wore the uniform or outfit, whatever he's wearing, just to get the crowd to boo him so he could cite mental health issues. Again, I have no idea if that's true, but if that is, that is totally, totally disgusting. And it makes me just upset when athletes, and again, I'm not against guys getting the money that they want, but when they do stuff like he did, the whole deal with Kyrie Irving and the vaccine and about him not playing because of issues at the Capitol or the George Floyd death or just anything, and then he hear about reports him celebrating a birthday party with his family, and also antics that Antonio Brown pulls. It's just when athletes do stuff like that, it's just hard for me to have sympathy for them when they want to get paid all that money, guys. That is what I know. Y'all take
Eric.
care.
Good stuff. Really, really good participation. Sorry we couldn't get to everybody. We got to come back. We got to head east. We got to bring in Vince Ferrara to start things off. Third hour, DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From Brentwood to Donaldson, that's when you need to get your groove. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Proud to announce that they have won the Top Gun Award for the best Pella sales organization in the U.S. They have the best culture, best customer satisfaction, and best growth in the business. To celebrate, Pella is offering their amazingly affordable products at 0% financing with no payments for 12 months. Do you need new doors or windows? I suggest you shop with Nashville's Pella experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaofNashville.com.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back April 5th, and if you haven't been to Third and Home on game day, you're missing out. Third and Home is the newest sports bar in Germantown that overlooks the Nashville Sounds ballpark. From the bar's spacious beer patio, you can see the whole Sounds game as if you were sitting in the seats with a ticket. No wonder it's known as Germantown's bar with a ballpark. Head to 3rd Avenue North and check it out for lunch, a night of brews, or to catch a game. Third and Home is open Tuesday through Sunday. For more, visit thirdandhome.com.
Realizing Geico is your one-stop shop for all your insurance needs is like realizing you can just toss the whole measuring cup into the washer so it won't get gunked up with laundry detergent.
I guess it doesn't work for coffee mugs, huh?
It's something that's been right in front of you this whole time, like how Geico offers 24/7 emergency roadside service to help you when you need it most. Or how athletic wristbands aren't for your wrists, they're for wiping sweat off your forehead.
Great. So, what are headbands for?
80s night at the dance club. Woo!
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance, with even more ways to save when you add boat, motorcycle, and RV insurance. Or how a pony is its own animal and not just a baby horse.
So, what's a baby pony called?
Getting more ways to save. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
If you've got a yard, you may plan on digging in it, like to build an addition, put in a pool, or bury your pirate booty. But you should know that throughout the country, there may be pipelines buried underground. And if you hit one, you've got trouble. Sorry. So before you dig, call 811 to have any buried pipelines located and marked at no charge. For more tips on pipeline safety, visit pipesafety.org. A message from the Tennessee Gas Association, Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Holy moly. That is not That is not our normal open. Please. People are going to turn us off. Third hour. Darren, Donick, and Chase. Yeah, that was Chase. It's got to be, right? I mean, I heard the dogs. It was hard to hear that. Woo! Is that karaoke night?
That was. EMZ obtained some tape here of one Chase McCabe performing Smoky Mountain Rain.
Well, now that this segment has been crashed and burned, let's bring in Vince Ferrara at Vince Sports on Twitter. Vinny, how we doing?
I am good. How about that? Yeah, I love it. Chase doing karaoke, the Smoky Mountain Rain. Yeah, my day is made.
Well, there you go.
I'll tell you what, there's some Vols fans that their weekend was met with what happened here in Nashville. How about the young man from Murfreesboro, the true freshman, Drew Beam, who was just outstanding yesterday. He's been named Freshman of the Week in the SEC. He's been named the Pitcher of the Week in the SEC. He's got 3 SEC starts. He's given up 6 hits and 1 run. Yeah. And his shortest outing is a 7 1/3 in the SEC for a true freshman. Pretty impressive.
Kid throws strikes. Kid has an edge and a want-to him. And the injury or the shoulder soreness to Blade Tidwell, who's probably a upcoming future first-round pick, depending on how he looks when he comes back. And I think he'll be he's pitched once. But that opened the door for a weekend spot for Drew Beam. He probably was going to be, a bullpen guy or at least competing for one of those weekend spots. But Chase Burns and Chase Dolander, the first 2 guys on the weekends, have been almost equally as spectacular. But Beam is a freshman. He was well thought of in recruiting, not quite as highly rated as Chase Burns. But this kid has exceeded expectations, and he just throws strikes. He induces ground balls. He lets his defense play to him. Some other guys are more strikeout guys, but he gets you to ground it out. People don't make solid contact on him. Has a nice array of pitches in his arsenal. Pretty good for a freshman to come in when usually those guys either start out as 2 pitchers or maybe a third that they use lightly. And then he gets great coaching from Frank Anderson that when you're willing to be coached by Frank Anderson, he's going to make you better. He's made everybody better, including Dolander, who transferred from Georgia Southern. Their weekend rotation, guys, is freshman, sophomore, freshman. And again, doesn't even include Tidwell or Seth Halverson, who hasn't pitched yet, who was Missouri's Friday guy last year that transferred to Tennessee.
They're 27-1, and I know there's still a ways to go. It's a long season, but just watching them this weekend, what honestly is their weakness, Vince? I mean, what am I missing? What are they not good at? What do they need to get better at? They can hit for power. I think they lead the country in home runs by a mile. Their pitchers are dominant. And I think I even saw this weekend, I was watching the game in between the NCAA tournament games on Saturday night. I think they also are the most aggressive team on the bases in the country. What are they not good at?
Nothing. There's nothing they're not good at. And, people have tried to point out some things. In the Ole Miss series, they weren't their best defensively, but then they were really good in this series and bounced right back, which is what they were prior to a couple of games where they weren't as sharp defensively. There was a stretch of about 4 games where they gave up an elevated amount of home runs. Well, that came to an end, other than the 2 against Vandy on the weekend, which is still pretty good in that ballpark. And they haven't really given up very many home runs throughout the season. They're not only are they good with their starters, but they have role guys if they need to bridge a game, which they haven't had to do much outside of midweeks. They're really good on the back end with a guy that throws a lot softer than the power arms that they start most games with and go deep into ball games with. So it's a totally different look. He's about to become the all-time saves leader at Tennessee to pass Todd Helton. And then also they've got a guy in Ben Joyce, who's a phenom in college baseball. They'll throw 103, 104. And there's other guys that they haven't really used as much as they are worthy of using. So they They don't strike out a ton for being a power hitting team. You mentioned them running. They have this togetherness, and they have an edge to them as well. They enjoy being the villain. They're good guys, but even, for example, the Jordan Beck home run that was taken away because the sticker fell off the bat, and by the way, they are getting that bat back. It was just an ineligible bat. It wasn't an illegal bat. I know there's been some discrepancy on that. They're getting that bat back because it wasn't illegal. They just need to do a better job of making sure that games and series stickers are on there. But nonetheless, after that, Luke Lipsius hits a home run, and he picks up the bat and stares it down. They don't mind being hated in opposing ballparks, and they've now won 8 consecutive road series. So there are no flaws you can point to with this team as we sit right now.
Talking to Vince Ferrara. Vince, I do want to get your perspective on the bat thing because, and as I say this, let me just, for the record, put out there, Tennessee absolutely was impressive, deserved to win all 3 games, dominated all 3 games. The pitching was unbelievable. But can you help educate me on the process with the bats? I mean, like, for example, what a lot of people are wondering, I think it started with the Ole Miss series, so it's not just a Vanderbilt thing. A Trey Lipscomb, who has been really a role player, hasn't played much, all of a sudden is leading the nation in home runs. And so it's sort of unfair to him because you have these suspicions, something like this happens with the bats, and people jump to conclusions unfairly. So tell us, what is the process? I'm confused on how the bat thing works.
Well, honestly, Willie, we haven't spent a whole lot of time talking about it, looking into it, discussing that whole process. It's something that, I've learned through this weekend and how it went down, and then also relying on my partner, John Wilkerson, who was on the call for the 3 games this weekend, and what he has said in talking to the team about it being there with them. And basically it's on Thursdays typically where they will do the checks for the weekends, and after all bats, they're inspected. After they're inspected, they put a sticker on them, and they're good for the weekend, and you have to use one of the bats that have those stickers. In Tennessee's case, they had a sticker from the Western Carolina game on that bat because apparently the Vanderbilt sticker came off. We noticed that, and they obviously have planned to do that as well. Into the weekend. So that's pretty much about it, and we understand that Jordan Beck is going to get his bat back because it wasn't illegal. If it was illegal, then he wouldn't be able to get that bat back. So it was just ineligible for that series. That's my understanding of the process, and even Tony Vitello was like, I don't I don't know specifically, beyond that, other than we gotta keep stickers on our bats and then check to make sure. So,
and it is something that is a practice that has been used in the past by many teams of, I don't want to say doctoring, but it's called rolling. You roll the bat to get a little more trampoline effect. There's ways that you can do it. And obviously, you can make an aluminum bat. If you watch some of the bats that the kids use these days, there's a lot of variants, right? You can make a rocket launcher if you want. So it's a really tricky thing. And so I'm just wondering, this is the first I've heard of anything like this in a long time. Years ago, there was a lot of suspicion on a couple teams that went pretty deep in the NCAA tournament, but they've done a pretty good job, I think, of regulating the aluminum bats the last few years, because we all can remember a day and time where the bats were just too live. College baseball was suffering because of it.
Yeah, no question. Since they've gone to the BB Core bats, we really haven't heard as much of it. Offense is up throughout all of college baseball in the SEC. This weekend, the runs were down a little bit and in the SEC, but the first 2 weekends, there's been a lot of scoring in the SEC. So this is throughout college baseball, I think that is the case. And, for Tennessee, from a perception standpoint, when people were talking about it already, and then you had a home run taken away, whether accidental, even if it was accidental, there's still going to be that suspicion towards Tennessee. And so that's something that they're, just from that standpoint, they're going to want to make sure they cover their bases so that doesn't continue. If they're not doing anything to them and this pops up, I honestly don't think they really care, but you don't want people taking away from your success. That's where they should care on a perception and make sure they cross their T's and dot their I's from that standpoint. But it's something that has also been more of an emphasis this year. It happened in the Auburn-Texas A&M game.
There was another bag confiscated over the weekend, yeah.
Yeah, so they're looking out for it for sure.
We're talking with Vince Ferrara. Now, Vince, the Vols had their first team scrimmage this past weekend. I know there was some sort of mystery at who's going to play left tackle for the Vols. What did you learn after watching their practices this weekend?
Well, there were some explosive runs in the run game, so that was good. Not, obviously positive for the offense, not so much on the defense. Josh Heupel said that they've done some good job in some team settings and affecting the quarterback, but he wanted to watch a little bit more tape before making a declaration. I like the D-line and watching them closely throughout the practices. I've been to every single practice except for the scrimmage. That was closed. This weekend's scrimmage will be open as part of All Vol weekend that will be broadcast. The scrimmage will be broadcast on some big screens where fans will be gathering and stuff, and we'll be allowed to be there. Which will be nice because we didn't really get to see a whole lot other than the spring game last year, and there is no spring game this year. So I think that was one thing. Another thing is how efficient the quarterbacks were. I think they're protecting the football. Taven Jackson, according to their quarterbacks coach, Joey Halsley, he hasn't missed a single call. He hasn't missed a protection, hasn't missed a call, hasn't had a play backwards, none of that. And so far, and that's a true freshman. So he has really impressed them and caught their eye. He's not going to hop Hendon Hooker or anything, but they still like what they see in him. And then, obviously, it's hard to really judge the secondary because they're so low in numbers. Guys are having to play a lot more snaps in those scrimmages. You mentioned the left tackle position. Hadn't really gotten any word as to who stood out. I think probably J.J. Crawford at JUCO didn't really play much last year. Probably has the lead right now over Gerald Mincy, the Florida transfer. But that is still a competition that will go, I think, well into camp in the fall. And then right now they're giving Darnell Wright, who was their left tackle last year, a look at right tackle because those other two guys are a little bit more natural at left, and they say Wright is a little more natural at right tackle. So the inside positions, I think, are pretty solid, and that's a positive. The offense, D-Mace is ahead of the defense, which is not a surprise.
Vince, appreciate it as always. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next Monday.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thanks. Have a great one.
Vince Ferrara at Vince Sports on Twitter. I'm going to tell you why I think the sticker incident on Friday is a good thing. We'll discuss it on the other side. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Inviting you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug and Associates, this is Mickey Market. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Avoid biking in the rain and never touch another person's bike.
Hey guys, look at these bikes. So shiny. Whoops. I'm gonna leave a note. Oh gosh, there's more.
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the next generation of drivers, where titanium ends and the carbon age begins. Introducing the new Stealth Carbonwood driver from TaylorMade, with 60 layers of carbon twist-based technology designed for better energy transfer and faster ball speeds. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, or shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Most shoppers today fall into one of two categories. You could be like Dave, who settles for nothing but the finest.
I drive only European luxury sedans, wear the finest Italian leather shoes, my shirts are custom made, and I expect white glove service from those I do business with. I appreciate world-class brands, and at this point in my life, I just don't want to compromise on quality, no matter what I buy.
Or you might be like Steve, whose goal is to always get the best deal.
I'm frugal. I'm all about finding value. I want the best price, and I don't mind going out of my way to get it. I work hard for my money, and I just want to make sure when I buy something, I can have confidence in knowing I'm not overpaying for it. Stop being cheap, it's being smart.
You never see these two guys in the same store, except for one.
That's why I shop at Genesis Diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds is that rare shopping experience where you can have it all. Uncompromising luxury and unbeatable value, exceptional service and the guaranteed best price in America, a premium experience and a smart purchase. This is where the best of all worlds come together. Genesis Diamonds, voted best jewelry store year after year. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hi, I'm Yussi Saros. And this is Nashville.
Now here's a try off to the side. What a stop made by Yussi Saros there.
Unreal. You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
How was that situation explained to you with the bat?
I guess, the sticker came off during BP. There was no sticker on the bat. You got to have a sticker. We've actually, since I've learned that, we've got a few bats that somehow conveniently the stickers have come off. So I don't know, but I don't even know that Jordan Beck should be at University of Tennessee. Forged his transcript, and it's actually a 35-year-old man named Mike Concho.
Tony Vitello, you can't say he's dull. That's for sure. We've had him on this show, and he's a spark plug, man. It is very clear that these kids feed off his energy. Funny guy, got quite the personality, and that was him talking about Jordan Beck's home run that Tim Corbin and Vanderbilt challenged the bat. The sticker had fallen off, so he was called out. Now, for whatever reason, Talladega Nights has been running a lot lately when I've been, searching, and it's one of those movies I tend to stop. Pretty sure that's a Talladega Nights reference, I think. I remember Mike Concho being in there. But
no, Mike Concho also is a Vanderbilt tweeter who is often, just there's Vanderbilt Twitter and there's Vols Twitter. We know. And so there's a lot of back and forth between the two. So I don't know if he was referencing that either. It's possible, but
that's what came to mind for me, but I don't know. I don't know what he was referencing. But we were obviously working the Preds game. You were in Buffalo. I'm doing things, manning things from here. And so I'm just kind of following it on Twitter, loosely. And I saw this whole thing play out on Twitter. And my immediate reaction, without either being there at the game or watching it, because I think it was on ESPN too, was and I was talking because Elijah was working the game too, and so me and we're talking during breaks and what have you. And my immediate reaction, if I'm just being honest, guys, was without seeing it play out. And I kind of know Vitello's reaction would be he would go nuts. I was like, man, this is this is even better for this series. Like, we had been talking about it leading up to the series. We had Tim Corbin on last week. Like, we've been talking about, like, how big, how much ticket prices were, how difficult of a ticket was. Maybe it was the hardest ticket ever in Vanderbilt baseball history, which is hard to believe. They've hosted many, many super regionals to go to the College World Series. May have been the toughest ticket they've ever had. But yet this is just going to push it up even more, this series. If I'm just being honest, that was my initial reaction of, oh, this is now going to make this rivalry even spicier.
Oh, no question about it.
Right? Like, I was like, man, just when I thought maybe it hit the pinnacle. No, it's got a new level because of this. And now Tennessee Vanderbilt baseball is going to be heated, and it's going to be awesome every time they tangle because of stuff like this. I thought it was a great thing for things moving forward because, look, right? That's what it did. He's going crazy. I mean, this is just going to keep this rivalry, and I know they both have to remain good, but does anybody see either one of them not being good for a good while? No.
Definitely not. And, Vitello, he made a joke there and everything, but what a lot of people were wondering is, when you say the sticker fell off, I don't know if I buy that. The sticker from Wednesday's game is on, but the sticker from before the series falls off, whatever. And the guy did exactly what you do. He gets called out, he steps back up, and he sticks it in your face and hits another bomb with a different bat.
Yep.
So, victory for Tennessee in that, and it just fuels what's going on with Tennessee right now. They got the bravado. Mm-hmm. They're playing well. They're backing it up. They feed off of it. Like Vince said, they like being the bad guys. And, man, are they using it to their advantage? So, but let me just tell you where the bat thing came from. It's not coming from Vanderbilt. It's coming from really everywhere around the league. There's suspicion.
It would be crazy for Vanderbilt to,
well, they were
you don't
right.
want to do it.
They checked the bat, and they were correct on it. Mm-hmm. But where it's coming from is Tennessee is so far ahead of everybody else in home runs. They're leading the nation by a wide margin. Mm-hmm. Now, part of it is they play in a smaller park. It's a hitter's park. But it's going beyond that. There's research that people do with exit velocity and how far you should hit the ball, how far a ball should go based on the exit velocity. And that's where people have their suspicions about what's happening with the bats. And like Vince pointed out, it's happening around college baseball. There was the Texas A&M game. There was a similar situation. A bat was confiscated. So I think there's people around the country saying, let's make sure we're not going back to 1995 where the bats were way, way ahead of the pitchers. We like the college game being a balanced game where we have aluminum bats, but it plays more like a wood bat. That's what you want, right? You want the balance between pitching and hitting. So that's where that's coming from.
Now,
there's another guy specifically, and I mentioned him before, Trey Lipscomb, who was a bench player. He's been there for 4 years, and he's hit 2 home runs in his previous 3 years. He's got 11 home runs this year, and he's hitting some balls opposite field. He hit one at Ole Miss last week. There was an opposite field home run down the right field line. He's a right-handed hitter. And so that had everybody going, 11 home runs for this guy. And that's unfair to Trey Lipscomb because the guy deserves accolades for working his way into the lineup, etc. But I'm just telling you sort of the backdrop of where that's coming from. So, like Vince said, Tennessee's when you win and you dominate, people are gonna check what you're doing. So just make sure you have everything the way you want it. And as Vince said, the bat that was confiscated has been okayed now, so shouldn't be a problem. Shouldn't be a problem going forward.
Where is the sticker located?
I don't know where the sticker's see, I'd never heard of a sticker or anything like this before Friday night's game. I didn't know.
If the sticker is located
I don't know what the process is.
in a spot where everyone can see it, then it should have been recognized by the plate ump.
Well, where would a place on a bat not be recognizable?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they should have recognized it when he came up to bat. That, no, that's from the other day. You need to get another bat.
Well, I think there may have been some awareness beforehand, but you wait until you can use it to your advantage before you call it out. It's like the George Brett Pine Tar home run. You didn't say anything until he hit the home run, and then you say, well, now I'm going to use
check the bat.
I'm going to use what I know to be true. He's got the pine tar where he shouldn't have it, so I'm going to call him out.
So
on
it seems to be no penalty for it, if indeed you do.
Yeah, he was called out.
He was called out. The home run was canceled.
But I'm saying, like, he stepped up again and hit another
with
one.
with a different
bat. So
yeah.
my thing is,
so that's what you do as a player. You come back and say, okay, you think it's the bat, huh?
No, but as a league, you say you're done for today.
Well, that's what's interesting is I don't know what the process is.
Let's talk about that.
Because in the past, there's been penalties you get thrown out of the game.
Yeah.
Like in hockey, if you use an illegal curve on your stick, it's a 2-minute penalty, but you don't get thrown out of the game.
It's a really good thing you're bringing up, Derek. Let's continue that on the other side, because there are probably people who are like, well, is just an out a good enough a penalty? If you're going to make a rule about a bat, is just an out strong enough? It's a good point. We'll discuss on the other side here. And I'll tell you another team that should have their bats checked. I'll tell you about that as well here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Every Friday at 8:30 on Robbie and Rexo, we talk with the legend, Terry Chris, about all things Nashville Predators, presented by Copper Branch on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Make plans with the Preds. Whether it's a night out with friends, a date night with that special someone, or a work outing, it's the ticket package for you. Introducing the new Hockey Hall Pass presented by Assembly Food Hall, complete with 2 tickets to a Nashville Predators game and a $30 Assembly Food Hall gift card. Visit NashvillePredators.com/Hall Pass to buy yours now. Secure your Hockey Hall Pass today to receive this incredible value. That's NashvillePredators.com/Hall Pass. That's NashvillePredators.com/Hall Pass.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe here to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Dr. Rice, listen, we all have cavities, but what's the best way to try and keep them from happening?
Cavities are like any other health condition. You don't really know you have one until it gets bad. Recently, I saw a patient for treatment that they had been putting off. Something that could have been simple to fix 6 months ago turned out to need a root canal and a crown. Postponing treatment costs more and takes time away from work.
Nobody wants a root canal, so you're right. Regular checkups are very important.
Well, we do things differently. I want to let people know that if they're afraid of pain or worried about the cost, they are not alone. Don't be embarrassed. We understand. Give us a call at 615-373-4488. That's KellyERice.com.
Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. If you don't have dental insurance, no problem. Be sure to join their membership club. Just visit KellyERice.com or call 615-373-4488 now to schedule your cleaning and checkup. You'll certainly be glad you did.
Thinking about making a change? You've put in the years and had success, but ready for something more? Well, good news. Little Guys Movers is looking for folks just like you to own and operate their very own Little Guys Movers franchise. From Broadway to Brentwood to Mount Juliet, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com and then make that call.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Listen to Stillman and Company with me, Caroline Fenton, all season long on ESPN 102.5 The Game for your chance to win Nashville Sounds tickets courtesy of 312 Pizza Company in Germantown.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hey, Tim, thanks. Don't forget to stop by Social Furniture at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. It's in Nashville. You can enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Predators and Blackhawks at Bridgestone Arena on Saturday, April 16th. Don't forget to check out their new sofas while they're there as well. Must be 18 years of age to enter the contest. Manic at North Carolina, he doesn't have to worry about that. No purchase necessary. Back here on the DDC, Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you, Elijah Campbell manning the board at the Hillside Medical Game Studio. I'll tell you who should have their bat checked. I don't know if you guys saw this last week. Campbell, they beat Presbyterian 36-4. You laugh.
There's no mercy rule.
They beat them 36-4 last week. So
heck.
maybe somebody should check Campbell's bats.
Yeah, I guess so.
The Fighting Elijahs.
School is such an honest, integrity-driven name, would never juice their bats.
36-4.
Wow. So what you're saying is they didn't have a chance.
Did they have their stickers proper? Were their bats properly stickered? I think, getting back to, in all seriousness to this, look, if I'm just being honest, when I was like, what sticker, all this stuff I'm following on Twitter, I'm like, I didn't even know there was a sticker on these bats. So I think we're all kind of learning this. Obviously the teams and the coaches are fully aware of this, but I don't know how much, Joe Fan was familiar with this process. How long has this process been in place? What did Vitello mean by, maybe we should check some other bats? Because I think some other bats don't, their stickers have fallen off too. It's interesting. It's an interesting topic. And also what you put out there is interesting. Is just an out good enough? Now, if Vandy goes on to win by a run, do you think that play would have been referenced?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course it would have been referenced.
Yeah. Do you think it would have
Rightfully
been
so.
a hot discussion piece of, wow, Tim Corbin just won the game for Vanderbilt. They got that run taken off the board. Vanderbilt, won the game by a run. That was a huge home run that was taken away. But you're saying, I kind of felt like you're asking, should the penalty be steeper?
Yeah, I think it should because, and I'm not saying that, Tennessee did anything wrong because obviously they checked the bat and it was, sufficient enough for the game. But if you do indeed run into an illegal bat, the guy hits a home run and you check the bat and it's illegal, okay, we take the run away. Shouldn't he be dismissed from the game? It's still because it's cheating. It's knowingly cheating. So you should be kicked out of the game.
Well, I don't know if it's knowingly. I don't know if you can say
you can't prove that it's knowingly.
You can't prove that it's
right.
Well, who doctored the bat?
It's your responsibility to go up there with the legal
it's
bat.
It's your bat, so you should know what goes on with your bat.
That's an old story too. Back in the day, there's been plenty of people that got caught with a cork bat. I remember. Who was it?
Sammy
I think
Sosa.
It was Billy. Well,
and
Sammy
he was like,
Sosa.
that was my
that wasn't
BP
my
bat. I didn't
yeah.
even realize it.
Right,
no, I thought he said
that
that was my BP bat.
Billy Hatcher one time got suspended. He broke his bat and a bunch of Super Balls came out of the middle of it.
Oh, wow.
And he said, "Oh, that's not my bat. It's so and so, the pitcher." You blame it on the pitcher. And so why were you using his bat? Like again, you try to take that out of it and say, "Well, did you use the bat or did you not use the bat?"
That's my thing. Either you used it or you didn't, whether it's illegal or not. If it's found to be illegal, if you use the bat, then to me it should be more than just, okay, we'll take that run off the board. Because then he came back and got the run again.
Yeah, with a different bat.
Exactly. So you should be, you should be disqualified.
By the end of the weekend, to Tennessee's credit, they made it about their domination.
Of course, they were a better team.
They made the story was they just flat out outplayed Vanderbilt for 3 games, and they quieted all of the whispers. But I do think going forward, if I'm Tony Vitello, I'm definitely making sure that I've got my ducks in a row because when you're that good and you're hitting that many home runs, this was out there for a reason, right? So I just make sure that I had it covered because other people are going to check. I think around the country.
Of course they are, especially if they continue to hit the home runs they're hitting at that clip. Then people are always going to speculate or wonder, are they using Are they getting over? You know.
I also would love to know how they actually inspect the bat. I mean, I can't pick up a bat and say, yeah, this is doctored, this is not. Like a cork bat, you can't know until the bat breaks in a wood bat situation. I wouldn't know. I've seen videos on how you roll an aluminum bat and make it more potent. So that's out there. But but can an expert, an umpire, whoever does the check, can they tell just by looking at a bat that it's been doctored? I don't know. Like you can't do a test on it, right, and say, well, here's the exit velocity, here's the trampoline effect. Like you can't do that unless you have a lot of time, and they don't have time to do that. It's got to be eyeballed.
I thought. So it's not done. It's not done before, like the night before the game.
It is done before the game.
Yes.
Like the night before the game. Well, they should.
I don't know if it's the day of the first game or whatever, but there's a process you go through to get the bat.
It's sort of like
cleared for
NFL
play.
with footballs.
Yeah.
They you gotta send the NFL. These are the balls that we want to that we're using, and they check the balls and they get put in this bag. And these are the balls for the game. Nobody touches them. These are the balls for the game. They've been marked with whatever marker they have, and they're put to the side. So I guess it's done in that manner. It's not. I don't think it's the day of. Because that's a lot for a ref to do.
Yeah.
Or an ump to do.
And honestly, I had not ever heard of that before Friday. I didn't know that there was a process and a sticker. But I've been watching SEC baseball for a long time. I never have heard of that.
It's only a big deal if the games were close.
Yeah,
but Tennessee just
they
beat them down.
They pitched so well.
Yeah,
it really wasn't this. They
wasn't
made
part
the
of
pitching the story. Yeah,
yeah.
So why do you think a player should have to exit the game for the day?
Because to me, it's the integrity of the game. That's just what it is. It's your bat. You should know what's going on. Just like they tell you at the airport, watch your luggage. Your luggage is your luggage. Don't take nobody else's luggage. Don't carry nobody else's luggage, because if you get caught with it, we ain't going to ask where you got it from. It's your luggage. You're getting taken to jail because there's something in there illegal. We're not going to say, hey, we're going to go find the guy. No, you're coming with us first, and we're going to check you out first. To me, it's the same thing. It's your bat. You understand what the rules are. If it comes out that the bat that you used was an illegal bat, then you're gone for a game. You're either gone that game, the rest of that game. You don't get an opportunity to come back in and make up, for
right.
It's just like cheating on the test. Well, the teacher is not going to say, "Oh, don't worry about it. Here's another test." No, she's gonna he or she's going to fail you.
Right.
Like you failed the test.
In Major League Baseball, you get suspended and you miss 7 days or whatever it is.
I'm not calling for like 7 games. I'm just saying
I'm just saying what it is in Major
League
Baseball. Look, Tennessee doesn't need to do anything to their bats. They're still going to be one of the best in the country.
I'm just saying,
so
like,
all
for
I'm
anybody,
saying
if
is
they're caught.
Whatever was going on, look, there were whispers. There's a reason that happened on Friday. It's because there's knowledge going on around the league. People talk, right? You heard all the squawking that Ole Miss did the week before.
Yep.
So it gets around. And it's a college-wide thing. Run scoring is up. So I think there's checks and balances. I think Tennessee doesn't need to doctor their bats. Obviously, that was the case on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
It's a really interesting topic, and I think we learned something. And now I think now it's on everybody's radar, right? I guess I think you'll probably hear about it more and more. And you do wonder if some things.
And everybody in the league should take note.
Right.
Everybody in college baseball should take note.
Does that mean that they'll be doing things differently behind the scenes, right? Like more aware. Maybe they weren't, nobody was expecting. But if you are thinking, hey, everybody's going to be watching you closely, I think you'll probably take a little bit more precautions, will you not?
Oh, yeah. I bet you. I tell you one thing.
Those
stickers ain't coming off no more.
That's right.
I tell you that.
Wherever
that sticker is located, it ain't coming off no more.
Yeah, my guess is 8 boxes of Gorilla Glue just got delivered to Knoxville. They're going to make sure those stickers are not coming off. They're going to glue them on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fascinating topic. All right, we'll come back, talk about this Predators team that did not fare well in Buffalo. Had the weekend off. They'll be back at it for a monster tilt tomorrow night against the Wild. We'll do that to close out hour number 3. Don't forget Jerry Stackhouse. He's going on 2 shows today, Jim Rome and our show. We'll have him at 1 o'clock. You're listening to the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy skies linger around with us for the rest of the day. High temperature up to 72 degrees. A passing shower will be possible, but we'll save the rain for Tuesday and Wednesday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Here it is, folks, the final night of this crazy college basketball season, and FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus guarantee. Joe Rexford here to let you know. You get $150 in bonus site credit. All you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet the championship game is up to you. Carolina with another huge win over Duke, ending Mike Krzyzewski's career. You got Kansas looking really impressive against Villanova. I will say I think Kansas is the better team. That's just me. My bracket was bad. Take it or leave it. But Carolina does seem like a team of destiny after being so bad early in the season. All I know is that you should join FanDuel today with promo code Joe102 so you can place your $5 bet and score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. Again, that's promo code Joe102 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now eligible site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Spring has sprung, which means it's time to renew your home with Social Furniture. It's their Spring Fling sale, where all furniture is up to 50% off. That's right, up to 50% off on top name brands such as Serta, Sealy, Simmons, Caracol, Bernhardt, and Woodhouse. At Social Furniture, you'll find new bedroom furniture, mattresses, and sofas, all up to 50% off. Spring into Social Furniture today on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Spring into savings at Electronic Express. Get up to 40% off the latest 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. That's not all. Get huge savings in every department like computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, mattresses, and more. Plus, save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online with free express delivery on most items. Shop locally owned and family operated at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Jerry Stackhouse coming up in 15 minutes. Don't forget Smashville Live this Wednesday, 6 o'clock hour. You can also watch it on the game's Twitch, Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter. Smashville Live every week. Brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, and Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. Back here on the DDC. Predators get back at it tomorrow night against the Wild. A Wild team that, 9-0-1 in their last 10.
Is that good?
I'm going to say even my calculations, even my math says that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, I would say that's great. It's kind of like Don Staley. That's great. That's great. And they are currently in second place. They're not going to catch Colorado. Nobody's going to catch Colorado, but they are starting to push the gap, make a little bit more sizable gap between 2 and 3. St. Louis. So Minnesota has 91 points. St. Louis is in third with 86. Nashville is in that first wild card spot with 82 points. Vegas has 82 points. Dallas on the outside looking in with 81. So it's a jumbled mess. The good news for Dallas and the Preds, they've got 3 games in hand on Vegas.
Yes, and Dallas finally stumbled against Seattle. They went out west and did very, very well up until last night and finally had a hiccup there. But it just seems like all of these teams, take Edmonton in there, they're not a shoo-in. They got 85. They've won 4 in a row. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. Nashville, is 6-4 in their last 10. So it's not like they've really hit the skids. But if you lose 1 game or 2 games, it's like a couple of days go by, other teams win. It's amazing how quickly you can go from, hey, I feel pretty good about stuff. Like when they left for Buffalo the other day and they had beaten Ottawa, they haven't played their best, but they got the win. And you're like, okay, feeling pretty good. You come back home from Buffalo, and over the weekend you don't play. It seems like everybody picked up 8 points.
So what do you
it seems like?
So what do you think the problem is?
Right now, even when they have won the games, and they went 9-5 in the month of March, they scored more goals than they've ever scored in the month of March as a franchise. Never scored more. But they've been giving up too many goals. And so I think if I had to boil it down to one simple thing, they're just not as tight defensively as they were before the All-Star break. And I think that ultimately is the emphasis that they've got to have going forward. The offense will be there, but they've got to make sure they're tighter, better in their own end. And that starts with not turning the puck over. They had a couple of bad turnovers early in the game against Buffalo. And let me say this about Buffalo. That atmosphere was special on Friday. That was probably the worst day you could possibly pick to play the Sabres because they were playing well already. Then they had their first sellout, I told you guys, on Friday before the game. First sellout in over 2 years. And a sellout is one thing, but the energy before the game, that ceremony for Rick Jeanneret, that place was juiced up all the way through. Chants, the wave, cheering big hits, big shots. I mean, it was a playoff kind of thing. And really, that is their playoff. They're not going to the playoffs. So that was a tough situation. But that being said, I would, what you hope for if you're the Predators is playing your best, and you say, look, that was a tough one. But they didn't. You couldn't walk out of there thinking you played well. And that's why they've got to make sure they get their game sharp going down the stretch, and it starts on the defensive end.
I'm nervous for the final 5 road games because I've been trying to figure out the ceremonies that these teams
I know. Somebody throw a ceremony for somebody, and you're in good shape.
I mean,
they just going to have a ceremony just because.
I said this morning, Robbie and Rexford, I was like, unfortunately, their next road game is Ottawa, and it's like, oh, boy. They just lost their owner, unfortunately. Sad story there. He'd been battling an illness that he lost that fight. It's like, are they really going to do, something in his memory on Thursday night? I mean, in all seriousness, they've got to lead the league in ceremonies this year. Not that it's an excuse. Like, we're having fun with this, but, it does seem like every freaking time they're on the road, somebody, they're either raising a banner, they're acknowledging somebody's 1,000th game, they're acknowledging Rick Jeanneret, who's done 51 seasons, Derek, over 5 decades as the voice of the Sabres. Hello.
It's pretty remarkable. That was really cool.
Unbelievable. By the way, he had the night off.
Yeah, but you know what they did? In the closing minutes,
they brought him out.
They brought him down to the tunnel near the bench, and they put him up on the Jumbotron. That place was electric. So you're thinking, man, it's going to be tough. Because you knew they were going to do anything they could to win the game. But, hey, Minnesota had a big ceremony for Mikko Koivu, and the Predators went up there and beat him. They beat him that night. So it doesn't mean You know what you just want. You want to be at your best at this time of year, and they've been missing a gear. Even when they've won some games here recently, it hasn't been the complete game that they had when they were rolling before the All-Star break.
The bottom line is, and I said this also this morning, like I get it. They're, like, nobody's in the room. I mean, think about this, Derek, you as a player for so long in the NFL. Like, you guys were never in the room before the game, right, going, all right, guys, let's make sure we dig ourselves a hole. Let's get down early on. Then we can fight back and battle back. Ready? Slow start on 3. Ready? Break. I mean, that's not what teams do. You're not looking for slow starts. But with that being said, they got to get off to better starts. And like I said, I know that's not the game plan. Hey, let's get out of the gate slow. Let's look sloppy in the first period. Let's get down a couple of goals and battle back, which, luckily for them, they have. I mean, they gave up 3 goals in the first, but it was tied at 3 after 1. But there's been a lot of other games. I know. Vegas and L.A. and other games, they haven't been able to get out of that hole. They got off to the slow start, and they weren't able to recover. Actually, go back to the Philadelphia game on the road.
Six straight giving up the first goal, 7 out of 8 they've given up the first goal. So you just put yourself behind the 8 ball, and they've won a decent amount of those games. Like I said, they're 6-4 in the last 10, even though when they've looked bad, they've really looked bad at times here. They're a better team than that. They feel like they're better. I do think it will help, and I don't know what it looked like at practice or anything. I know Dante Fabro is getting a little closer. It would be nice to slot him back in his spot, move Jeremy Lazan down to the role that they got, stabilize that third defense pair. That might help defensively. But I think, the forwards are part of defense. That's what a lot of people, you don't think about it as much, but hockey people tell you all the time. Don't just confuse if you're giving up a lot of goals that it's the defensive, the defensemen alone. It's your team defense. Your forwards are part of the defense. They've got to take care of their own end better and execute their puck decisions better. It sounds easy, but it's not as easy as it sounds, or else they'd have it fixed right now. They got to get back in the groove of doing that. But if you think from the goal out, I think they've shown that offensively they can score. Scoring is not the problem. Scoring wasn't the problem the other night. They come back, they tie the game at 3 at the end of the first period. Everything is, they took the big punch in the first period, came back, had it tied, but they just never really got into the groove for the rest of the night. You kept looking for that edge, that bite to their game. It just wasn't quite there. So they got to hit the reset. And look, if you don't have your act together tomorrow, when this Minnesota team comes in town, they can embarrass you for sure. It's a big, big game tomorrow. But look, they've got a lot of home games coming up. Atmosphere's been really good at Bridgestone Arena. It's time for it's time for the Predator fans to show what they can do to help buoy this team. There's a lot of tough games on the schedule here. 10 out of the last 14 are against teams that are going to be in the playoffs.
4th toughest schedule remaining. Anybody in the league. Let's go to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, before we get Jerry Stackhouse coming up at 1 o'clock. Bicycle Boy, what's up?
Hey, fellas, just wanted to get my bewilderment in here. Willie, you're right. It's scoring is a problem, but why aren't we scoring? And here's my observation. Our breakouts look like, it looks like we're on the penalty kill half the time lately when it's 5-on-5. Our passes are sloppy. We're not playing heads-up hockey, and by that I mean, to make a football analogy, when we get possession of the puck, you need to be looking up and finding the open man, and half the time our passes are to players who are covered. And then, if that's not bad enough, UC Soros has become like just a good NHL goalie. He's not. I don't know what the problem is there. Maybe teams have figured out that if you go high on his blocker side, that's a weak spot. I don't know, but there's my 2 cents, fellas.
All right, I think one. You go high on any goalie. I think it's an
high
expression.
Thing, I don't buy
it's overused to me, and I get it. He's a smaller goalie, but bigger goalies that going top shelf is not a secret. Blocker side, I just think it's an overused phrase. That's just me personally.
Oh, definitely. The game-winning goal was on the glove side. One of the goals went off of Tanner Jeannot's stick and in. So, I mean, sometimes you're just in a, things aren't going right. I am not worried about UC Saros nearly as much as some of the other things he pointed out a lot of stuff, but just an overall sharpness to the game. They got to sharpen up, and it starts tomorrow night. They're going to need a complete full game with everybody pulling the rope against Minnesota. They got 2 games with Minnesota at home. Minnesota might be out of reach. They might have that thing locked in, second place in the division. But, you have to do well against Minnesota if you want to make the playoffs.
Coach Villy on 3. Ready? Break.
Let's go.
Jerry Stackhouse to start the final hour. That's next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
This segment of ESPN 1025 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Realizing Geico has over 85 years of experience saving folks money and providing great customer service is like realizing there's a crumb tray on the bottom of your toaster, and you don't have to keep turning the toaster upside down to clean it.
How long has that been there? Hey, who needs some croutons?
It's something that's been right there in front of you all along, like the dedicated Geico claims team available to you in the event of an accident to get you back on the road quickly, or realizing that baby carrots are just regular carrots that have been shaved down.
I don't care. They're still cute.
It's something you can't believe you never realized before. Like how Geico's 97% customer satisfaction rating means Geico is committed to providing the best service for their customers. Or how you can peel the top layer of tape off a lint roller and there's a fresh layer underneath.
Marcy, wait till you hear about the lint roller.
You mean how the handle is reusable?
Wait, what?
Trust. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
The racing, the big one, the camping. It's all just bigger at Talladega. The Talladega NASCAR Weekend, April 23rd through the 24th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Zines First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Hockey fans, tune in to Robbie and Rexroad every Wednesday morning at 9:30 for expert commentary on the Predators and the NHL with the Preds beat writer from The Athletic, Adam Vingan. Brought to you by the Bank of England Mortgage.
As a mom, you have to plan for everything. But I never planned on my health plan at work costing so much to cover my family. Fortunately, with more than 70 years of experience helping Tennesseans, Farm Bureau health plans help me get family-friendly coverage for a lot less. So I can focus on raising my kids, not my premiums.
Ouch, Mom!
Find out more at FBHP.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
1025 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Donick, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
1025 The Game.
Final hour, DDC on this Monday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day to this point. Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, Derek Mason with you. Hopefully here soon we'll hear from Jerry Stackhouse, who's down in New Orleans, his beloved Tar Heels in the championship game. It's going to be about an 8:15, 8:20 tip tonight. North Carolina and Kansas for the national championship. So we're in a little bit of a stall till Coach Stack calls in. I think he's calling in right now. I will say this, Willie, I'd love to get analytics to what Bicycle Boy threw out there. In all seriousness, what is, league-wide, 5-hole, top shelf, blocker side, glove side, how the analytics would play out?
I'll give you the quick answer.
Okay.
And there's a stat that's out there where Nashville has slipped a little bit, and that is passes that go from circle to circle, lateral passes.
Okay.
That's how a lot of goals are scored.
Yep.
No matter who the goalie is. And so that's an area I think the Predators need to tighten up. And that
we've
is
seen that play out here lately.
Yeah, too many passes through the middle, and when you get that, they call it I think it's the golden road. If you complete a pass from circle to circle, you're on the golden road.
Oh, well, that power play goal for Buffalo,
yeah,
that won
game-winning
it was
goal,
circle to circle.
Yep.
All right, let's go down to New Orleans. Let's check in with Coach Stack. Jerry Stackhouse is on the line with us. His beloved Tar Heels are in the national championship game. Coach, thanks for joining us. I'll tell you what, Saturday night, rarely, we've talked about it on the show today, does the hyped game live up to the hype? But Saturday night, the hyped game lived up to the hype.
No doubt, man. It was a great game, great performances, obviously great teams, great coaches involved, and we definitely lived up to the billing, man. The competitive greatness of those guys really showed up there at the end of the game, made big plays, and glad my team was on the winning end of it.
How nervous were you watching that game down the stretch? Back and forth, back and forth.
I mean, again, I guess you kind of get used to it. I mean, standing on the sidelines, I was in the same mode. My arms were folded. I was coaching from section 141, row 11, but I was just trying to help them wheel them across the finish line, man. But no, those guys really stepped up and performed. I thought the defensive effort was huge. I mean, I thought A.J. Griffin, Leaky Black's job on A.J. Griffin was a huge factor in the game, and even Manick, even though he's not known for his defense, he did a really good job on Paolo coming down the stretch, man. And I think those two plays was the biggest difference in the game.
Hey, if you can get Pippen back next year and find a way to clone Baycott and get him to come to Vanderbilt to clone, I think you guys are going to be awesome next year.
Man, I tell you what, I don't think I'm going to lose too many games. I get somebody to get 20 rebounds.
That guy is unstoppable.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, not only what he does on the offensive end, being a presence down there, but just again, like the rebound the basketball. We're hoping that big man that we're coming in as a freshman can have that type of dominance for us. Lead Dortch, man. I think he's that type of rebounder. And when we play defense the way that we're capable of playing, it's always about finishing it off with the rebound. And he does a great job for North Carolina. Hopefully, our guy can come in and do some of those similar things.
Nice. Good to know. So how do you see this, Jerry, this one playing out tonight? I mean, you've seen both teams, but what do you like about both? What do you what advantage do you give to North Carolina? What advantage do you give to Kansas? How do you see that?
Man, no, I really think it's going to be a battle, man. It's going to come down to what these guys are able to do on the biggest stage, of what they've learned this year. I mean, two really well-coached teams, talented teams. In the backcourt as well in the front court. Hopefully Baycott is healthy. I know he went down. He scared us all a little bit, going down with that ankle injury late. And but I think he's going to be out there. He's going to play. I think McCormick played really well for Kansas. That's going to be a huge matchup there. Babaji's playing, at a high level, so he's going to, Leaky Black is going to have to be the defensive stopper that he is and limit him. And then you got the point guard matchup with RJ and Remy Martin. So I think it's billed to be a great game, and hopefully there's just no letdown from, the Duke game. Cause I was joking. I said, my son, he went to North Carolina as well. He's 25, and, he was on Instagram. Somebody was in the background. Well, you're going to lose Monday night. He's like, I don't care as long as we beat Duke.
Oh, no.
half of the fan base is, they're satisfied with just beating Duke and ending Coach K's career. But for us purists, we want to get that job all the way done tonight.
Oh, I could feel Dad cringing as he was telling that story.
We're talking to Coach Stackhouse. He's down in New Orleans watching his beloved Tar Heels play tonight in the national championship game. Now, Coach, there was a few moments in the game the other night where Coach Davis called timeouts after Duke made free throws. And I was wondering, why is he calling a timeout to help Duke set up their plays? What goes through a coach's mind when he does something like that?
Well, no, I mean, I think it was, I thought the same thing. And our Coach K called the timeout. I mean, I thought he, it was maybe he was just trying to, to manage it really. And I thought you can overmanage a game. And I thought, coming down the stretch, they had made some basket. Coach K called a timeout right after the basket, where they went up, and they was only left with one. I was like, why was there a timeout here? So I just think it was a little questionable, but, man, I think sometimes you just want to get some things set up, but it didn't come out in any change of defense. I thought, maybe it would be a zone or something like that. Both teams just strictly played man-to-man the whole game. There was never any wrinkles from the defensive side. So, but I just knew that it was a game that's going to come down to the end and come down to the balance. And for them to not have any timeouts late was a little weird. I thought, since he didn't waste any of his, he had an opportunity to just kind of call and maybe set up, whatever he wanted to go with defensively. But it was a little strange, to say the least.
Well, you have to love how conditioned Carolina is as a ball team, because Hubert Davis not until Baycott got hurt, he didn't make any substitutions in the second half.
Yeah, that's kind of the way they've been played, and they haven't been. They had some guys that come in and had some few good minutes there, but it's not a deep team. That's one thing that worries me a little bit, especially with them having a presence inside with McCormick and Lightfoot. That if Baycott was to get into any early foul trouble, there's really not a lot of depth behind him or any depth that we've seen so far. A couple kids have gotten a little bit of Dontrez Styles has gotten a few minutes, spot minutes here. Puff Johnson has gotten a few minutes, but not much after that. Guy Kerr and Walton, who played a lot for him last year and made shots for him last year, hadn't really been in the rotation this year. But could be one of those games where you need somebody, one of those X factors to come in and give you some help and spark off the bench.
We're talking to Coach Jerry Stackhouse, Vanderbilt Commodores. He is on hand at the Final Four in New Orleans, North Carolina, and Kansas for the title tonight. Coach, I watched the NIT final with Xavier winning there. I'm just curious, you guys took Xavier right to the wire on the road. That game could have gone either way. Came down to one possession there. What kind of momentum does that give you? Seeing Xavier go on and win that thing, how does that maybe provide a little lift and confidence to your group going forward next year?
Well, I think it should. It should, register with our guys that we're capable of definitely winning the NIT tournament. We should have won that game. We had multiple, leads that, just didn't, make some smart plays, fouled, 3-point shooter up 9, giving them free throws. That's, a situation where you got to make guys, make baskets on it. And they did, coming down the stretch. Maybe a call or two that if, Flip and we're at home, maybe Scotty gets one of those bumps going to the basket, because he was definitely fouled, in my opinion. But on the road, you have to expect that. And on the other end, Kunkel made plays. He went to the basket and made plays down the stretch. And, we won basket short. We had an opportunity at the end to possibly win the game on a late second shot that didn't go our way. But I think it's definitely a confidence builder for our team. We know that we're a tournament team. I think when you look at, just the, that team that we had on the floor, there, from the SEC tournament on, that was a team that we kind of envisioned for most of the season. But, injuries with Rodney and Lim. But unfortunately for us, we were able to come back. And then some of those tough growing moments that we had during the earlier part of the season, where I still felt we should have won the game. Without Rodney or without Lim, we should have won, 6 or 7 more games in my mind, just by, handling situations that we just needed to handle better. But I thought those growth moments allowed us to handle those moments a lot better down the stretch, coming down in March, and we were able to perform a lot better in the SEC tournament, and then we carried that momentum into the NIT. And hopefully after a big summer and adding some more quality depth throughout our roster, that we're able to build on that and ultimately get to the tournament, man. It's not, I'm sitting there watching that game. We can beat any one of those teams that play. North Carolina, Kansas tonight, we can beat any one of those teams. And hopefully our guys, understand that, they're seeing that, they're watching it, and just come back with a lot of energy again. It would be great to to be whole and, get Scotty back in the mix. I mean, hopefully he makes his decision soon because, whether he comes back or not, we still have to keep forging forward and being able to be a player in the transfer portal. Right now, we've got one scholarship available to go out and try to add some talent there. And depending on what he decides to do, it could be an opportunity to do that with a couple of guys. There's definitely some quality guys that I feel that could come in and help us there. But obviously, more importantly, we'd love to have him back if he sees fit.
Well, there's so many people that would be so excited if he came back, but of course that's all sort of a selfish. I'm one of them, right? I'd love to see him play another year because I'm so excited. What he can,
man. I mean, I think he could really become
no
the
question.
most decorated player and really the most decorated player, man. I mean, he got a chance to become an all-time league scorer and do some things that probably not a lot of people thought he could do coming in here, and he's developed and he's earned it, man. He's worked his way into becoming the player that he is, and a great citizen off the court. I think he really enjoys being in school. So we'll wait and see. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
So how do you try to be balanced with that? Because you're a mentor. You've been through the process yourself. You went through this process with Scotty last year. So how do you try to give him the accurate information?
I do. I mean, we go and we just sent off. I just signed a form to just kind of go get feedback from the league and where they think that he would get drafted. I mean, they turned that around pretty quickly. So I think if he comes back and it says that he's a late first-round pick or maybe possibly an early second-round pick, then that's maybe something to really consider. But if that's not the case, then let's run it back. Give us a chance to improve your stock even more. Because I think, teams know that he can play the game, and now we got an opportunity to really show that he can win. I think that they start to see that toward the end, that, him, making decisions to help us win games and how that can really translate to that next level. But again, you don't want to, because we talked about it last summer of him coming back and doing that this year. And so it's a fine balance of not, it's his decision this time. So, I mean, I think it's for him and his family to say that this is what they want to continue, and I'm going to support him as I would have last year, but I'm going to support him either way he decides.
All right, let's end on the toughest question you're going to get in this interview. What's the hair bow situation for tonight's game? Did you go through all the gummies on Saturday night? Do you still have some for tonight or what?
Man, I got the sugar-coated hair bow. I'm not going with the regular ones. I'm going with the sugar-coated tonight.
It's going to be a late night, is what you're saying.
No doubt, man.
Coach, always good to catch up with you. Have fun down there. Know you are. Best of luck tonight, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Appreciate you guys. Go Heels and anchor down.
All right, there you go. You got them both in. Jerry Stackhouse down in New Orleans is going to watch North Carolina. Can his alma mater get it done tonight against Kansas? He's going with the sugar hair bows. It is definitely going to be a late night. Little extra
on the line.
Need that pep.
Little extra oomph. I just thought he would take a nap, but I guess he's just going to throw in the sugar gummy bears. We're going to come back. Villy is going to have a topic that we're going to discuss. We're going to do that next here on the DDC, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
So, what is Jared Stillman going to say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Victory Award-winning New Amsterdam Vodka knows all about it, but in life, it's not always so clear. So New Amsterdam Vodka believes that in life, you've got to find your own wins. You've got to overcome your fears, go all in, even when you've got nothing at all. Find your wins. And when you do, raise that glass of New Amsterdam Vodka in victory. You've earned it. New Amsterdam Spirits Company, Modesto, California.
All right, yeah, you heard the karaoke that happened earlier today. You got to know I had some Screwball, and it was fantastic because it is my go-to when I am out with my friends and having a good time. Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey It's an original just like me, and that's why it's met for me and my crew. You can have it as a shot. You can have it as a drink on the rocks straight up, or they have different recipes that you can check out at screwballwhiskey.com, like a peanut butter old fashioned, which is really, really good. Also an espresso martini and a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. So again, screwballwhiskey.com, you're home for that. It is made with all natural flavors, real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter. That's what makes it so good. So check out Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey when you're out and about with your friends, and do like I do. Enjoy it responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
As a mom, you have to plan for everything. But I never planned on my health plan at work costing so much to cover my family. Fortunately, with more than 70 years of experience helping Tennesseans, Farm Bureau health plans help me get family-friendly coverage for a lot less. So I can focus on raising my kids, not my premiums.
Ouch, Mom!
Find out more at fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
When it's more than just your lawn, it deserves the Kubota Z400. Get a head-turning offer on class-leading speed, agility, simple deck height adjustments, and a quality cut. When you need comfort and performance, then you need the professional-grade Kubota Z400. Right now, get the Kubota Z400 mower for 0 down, 0% APR for 36 months. Now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
2 locations to serve you, Columbia Kubota or Franklin Kubota. Visit us online at ColumbiaKubota.com or FranklinKubota.com.
You're the one everyone looks to for answers. Come rain or shine, the job must get done, and you're the one who makes it happen. We get you, Jackie in Fresno, putting your employee safety first. And Manny in Chattanooga, whose local Granger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Every Wednesday at 6, we go behind the glass with current and former Predators players, along with coaches and broadcasters for Nashville Live.
Yost, Hal, and I were just talking about last night's game. It was a big game for us.
Presented by New Amsterdam Vodka, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, and Red Spirits and Wine on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Interact with Darren, Donick, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
You know, when the Preds are playing during the week, you've got a chance to win. Yes, it's Preds Pick to Click. Tomorrow morning, 8:45. Jump in there. You get selected. You just pick a player to score a goal. If it happens, you'll win a pair of tickets to a future home game. Preds Pick to Click, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. Of course, Preds hosting the Wild tomorrow night. Good stuff from Jerry Stackhouse down in New Orleans. Really, nothing new there on the Scottie Pippen front. He has never shied away with it in our conversations with him. I feel like he's been optimistic every time we've had him on, which is why when we talked about it a bunch last week, I said over and over again, my gut feeling is he's coming back. That was and I think, Derek, you said he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And, Willie, I don't remember if you were definitive one way or the other. I think you were leaning toward he's coming back. But, again,
he turned into Villy. He wanted
to
come back.
Look, everything I have heard during the season was he'd really like to move on and go pro. But I think Coach Stackhouse just hit the sweet spot, and that is – and I had not – look, you guys – have had a couple of extra conversations with him where I haven't been here, and I haven't heard every interview he's done when he's been asked about it. But
We've looked at the mocks. He's not projected. Jerry Stackhouse said if he's projected low first, early second, the mocks I've looked at, he's not even projected in the to be drafted.
That is my impression too when I watch him play. He's a very special college player, and this is no knock at him. I think there are a lot of people that fit this category. Let's even take high school. There are a lot of really good high school football players who put up all kinds of numbers. But for one reason or another, they don't project to be great college players, right? And everybody's wondering, how does this guy not get a scholarship? There's always that guy, right? And some people are dead wrong about these people. too.
No, you
Sometimes
see it all
it's
the
just
time,
they
yeah.
overlook people. But I think it's even tougher when you're talking about great, unique college players who, for whatever reason, don't go on to the NBA. Shane Foster. You know, I mean, there's you can go through a long line of great college players who weren't quite able to make it work in the NBA. And then there's that odd guy that doesn't seem like he's a great college player that plays for 10 years in the NBA.
Well, because there's not much turnover in the NBA because of the rosters are so small.
And you've got like a worldwide talent base now that wasn't the case 30 years ago.
Look,
Oscar Tshiebwe.
Tshiebwe, thank you. I don't know why I just all of a sudden had a blank. I was getting ready to go Oscar Tshiebwe when I remember looking because
I don't think he's a consensus number one pick.
Number one, everything I saw was like second round.
He might not get drafted.
Yeah.
Second round is where I saw him. I'm trying to think. I think even like pretty sure Drew Timme was like late second round. I think when I looked. I think that's right.
That sounds about right, too. They just don't pass well enough as centers.
Again, great college player, but what does it project in the NBA?
Yeah, Drew Timme, I had late second round, not even like a high second round, middle, late second round. Drew Timme, to your point, Willie, those are two outstanding college players, right? They're projected in the second round. One high, one low. But
So
I don't see where Scottie Pippen is projected in any of the mocks I've looked at.
Well, let's take a couple of the greatest players in Vanderbilt history. All right, Billy McCaffrey, two-time All-American, averaged over 20 points a game 2 straight years, SEC Co-Player of the Year. Was not drafted. I would have bet anything he was going to be drafted, let alone in the second round. I mean, I thought he'd be in the first round. Wasn't drafted and battled for years. Had a great international career. Never quite cracked a lineup in the NBA. Same thing with Shane Foster. Tremendous college player. Didn't quite get the right spot in the NBA. So my point is, Scottie Pippen, if he's not projected to be in that spot, surefire first-round pick. As you heard Coach Stack say, he could accomplish a lot next year. He could get up into that all-time great category. He can do something that hasn't been done since he's been there, and that's get them back to the NCAA tournament. That would be a great accomplishment. That's a lifetime thing that you can always look back on, that you don't get in the G League. You know, people don't remember if you led the Bridgeport, whatever they're called up there, to the G League playoffs. That's just not how it works. You know? So that would be the argument. So I was interested. Coach Stackhouse has coached in the G League, right? He was a long time. He left college early to go pro. So I think he would be able to give you an honest perspective of what all these levels are like and what's there. And then, as we talked about last week, there's the NIL as well, so that, the whole money part of it isn't maybe what it was a couple years ago.
Well, I think what it probably more than likely boils down to for him is, one, where would I, after they do their evaluations, where would they project me? And then two, I think, how much do I enjoy the college life? And it's okay, do I want to take the college life or the G League life? Which one do I want to take?
Right.
To me,
if you're trying to be realistic
exactly.
and say, I'm not going to go right into the league on a roster, I may not have to be able to do that. So do I want to wait one more year before I go through that process, or am I ready for that process?
Well, when you say surefire first round, there is no mock. If that's the criteria, he's coming back to Vanderbilt, because there's no mock that I've looked at that has him in the first round.
But it's just one of those. It's you get to enjoy the rest of your college career. You graduate. You probably don't have to take many classes because you're probably on the cusp of graduating anyway. And I don't even think the NIL plays any bearing on whether he come back or not. Yeah. I think it's just the college experience. And also, like Coach Stack said, you have an opportunity. Not many people can say you have an opportunity to be one of the greatest basketball players to come out of a university. in this situation, Vanderbilt. Not many people can say that coming out of college, whether they're drafted or not. Like, you could be the top scorer in Vanderbilt's history. So that may mean something to him.
Look, I'll stand with it. I've been saying it the whole time. Every time we have this discussion, I think he's coming back. I don't. I want to be right on this. I don't want to be wrong, because I'd like to see them with everybody available. What can they do? Can they be a tournament team? I thought it was very interesting when he said we could beat any of these teams. With the team that we were trotting out there, I was like, oh, okay. And we know they finished strong when they had the complement of players there on the court. They did at the end. They didn't have available early on in the season what it looked like. He talked about a big man coming in there that maybe can get them the type of rebounds that we were talking about. So it'll be very interesting to see. He said should have news here soon on that decision. No surprise there. We'll come back and we will get to the topic that Willie's going to throw out.
D-Mace is really going to like this one.
Prepare. But I'm going to talk to you about my friends at Cool Springs MD. I've been talking about them for years. You've heard me discuss how they've made me healthier and happier. Who doesn't want to improve their quality of life? I know I do. You should too, and I know a lot of you have gone there, and that's exactly what they've done for you as well. But if you haven't, and you would love to shed some pounds, maybe you've tacked on some unwanted pounds here lately that you would like to get rid of as we get closer to the warmer months. Well, weight loss management is important to them. They've got programs and products and people that can get you back on track and headed in the right direction. Rejuvenation, your appearance is important, but man, is it more challenging the older we get. Well, their experienced staff can sit down with you and talk to you about PRP, hair removal, Botox, and finally hormone therapy. Have you been feeling off lately? Haven't felt yourself and you can't figure out why? Like, what is going on? Maybe you don't have the same drive, you don't have the same energy, maybe experiencing mood swings. These are all things that can affect you or will affect you, but maybe you just need to get your levels checked and realize that as we get older, those levels go down, and that can affect you in these areas. And they'll be more than happy to discuss BHRT, testosterone, estrogen. They do it all, and they do it all under one roof there in Cool Springs at 1642 Westgate Circle. If you want to learn everything about them, just go to their website, coolspringsmd.com, or you can always pick up the phone and schedule an appointment or a consultation by dialing this number, 615-283-7291. That's 283-7291.
Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takauchi dealer.
Trying to find a new home right now is next to impossible. Very little inventory, prices are crazy high, rates are moving up. Here's a better idea. Let my friends at Loan Pronto refinance your current home, turn all that equity you have into cash, and totally transform your house. A new kitchen, new bathroom, a pool. Think about it. Your home value is up. Instead of wasting all that on an overpriced new house, convert that equity into cash for a home makeover. One local couple did it and got $200,000 out. They added new hardwoods, an outdoor living space, a swimming pool with spa and all new cabinets and appliances, plus a home office. Now they have their dream home, and they never had to move. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their home improvement refi. Give your home a total makeover and do it now. You can even skip your next house payment in the process. Call now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
It is that time to talk about BetMGM because they have a special offer on tonight's college basketball championship game. All you have to do is place a $10 moneyline wager on the game, and if either team hits a three-pointer, you're going to win $200 in free bets regardless of your bet's outcome. It is that easy, so why wouldn't you do it? Just use the code MM200. That's MM200 when you make your first bet. Enjoy the final game like never before and find out why nothing beats a win at BetMGM. Just download the app or go to BetMGM.com. Use the code MM200 to win $200 in free bets if either team hits a three in the college basketball championship. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Love Delta 8? Calm the madness with the help of Dazed. As one of the only Delta 8 brands that is truly single-sourced, quality and consistency is our guarantee. We are local and aim to provide the purest product while educating the consumer every step of the way. Stock up and score with Dazed next time you're at your local smoke shop. To browse our product line, visit dazed8.com. DAZED8.com.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
You can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Villy, floor's yours, man.
All right, I was debriefing D-Mace on this. Darren, you've probably seen this. One of the great streaks of all time just ended over the weekend. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when he set the record. But Keith Yandel in the NHL has played in 989 consecutive games. Set the record. There's also a guy named Phil Kessel who is only a few games behind, who still has an active streak going. Over the weekend, the Flyers healthy scratched Keith Yandel. It ended the streak. Now, the Flyers, as people probably know if you follow hockey, they're not going to the playoffs. They're not going anywhere. So one school of thought is, hey, just play out the string. He's on a one-year deal. Play to the end. He can get the 1,000 mark. That'd be a pretty cool milestone. He'll keep his lead over Phil Kessel. And then you can have him move on, and somebody else can choose to sign him or not sign him. It's not on you. And so people were really outraged. A lot of people were very outraged. Linda Cohn went on a rant this morning on NHL radio on the satellite, adamantly saying that this was a bad move by the Flyers, no class. Some of his teammates really stepped up and were upset that he wasn't in. Then you have others that are saying, look, you're not entitled to just get in the lineup. You have to earn your way in the lineup. If his play is diminished and you've got other guys you want to take a look at as a franchise, you can't be beholden to the streak. So it's a really interesting debate to me. Mike Rupp, who from NHL Network, he sort of represented the other side. He did a big video saying, look, we can't just be manufacturing these records just for the record. If he's not good enough to be in your lineup, you shouldn't be entitled to just show up and play if you're not earning your spot. So, D-Mace, I'm going to throw it at you first because you didn't miss any games, right? You rarely miss games in your career. This is the kind of thing that could have happened to you, right? So, Keith Yandel is not injured. He was ready to keep going. So, how do you feel about that? That's an interesting one.
I mean, I missed 2 games due to injury. But besides that, didn't miss any, whether I was hurt or not. It was just 2 that kept me out. I couldn't do anything. I wanted to, but just couldn't. It sort of falls in that same category as Eli Manning. You remember what happened to Eli Manning?
That's exactly what Linda Cohn brought up.
Yeah.
She went on this rant. Of course, she's a New Yorker, right? So she brought up the Eli Manning where they They just unceremoniously ended his streak, benched him, and put Daniel Jones in. And, of course, in hindsight, Daniel Jones hasn't done a whole lot. So, in retrospect, a lot of people were really defending that streak.
Because it was like, okay. And then they put Eli back in. I think they ended up putting Eli back in. Obviously, the Flyers knew about the streak.
Yep, they sure did.
And there had to be talks amongst, front office, coaches, saying, hey, listen, he's playing well. Let's get him this streak and keep going. There couldn't have been a discussion of, okay, because if he wasn't playing well, it just didn't start that game. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, if you were going to do it, you should have done it way before. Like, we want to play you, but your game has diminished that much. And now we want to give these younger kids an opportunity. It just looked real fishy now, and people get upset. Like, we got a handful of games left. Just let them ride the season out. Like you said, Willie, off air. You can release them after that. Let it be somebody else's decision whether they're going to pick him up or not. But you knew about the streak. You kept him in there so he can get the streak. Just let him finish the season out. It's not like you got 40 games left. You got a handful of games. Let him finish it out. You're not going anywhere. And to me, his play couldn't have diminished that much that they said, okay.
From 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. You're gone. We're going to sit you on the bench. You're not playing.
That's the interesting thing to me. So, Darren, you've been following this. Now, you also remember Keith Yandel was on the Florida Panthers, and at the beginning of the season, they sort of sent the signals that, hey, we're probably going to sit you out. I think it was going even back to last year. They were torn. So when he joined the Flyers like, we will get you the streak.
Mm-hmm.
Once the streak's over, we can't guarantee we're just going to keep you in the lineup to keep the streak going. So how do you feel about it, Darren?
I guess I would want to know, what does Philadelphia have to gain by doing this at this point in the season?
Mm-hmm.
What is their gain from this?
I guess
what are they trying to accomplish?
Get a younger player, a more deserving player in the lineup.
Okay.
And what I don't know, I don't watch Keith Yandel play every night to be able to tell you, he's just out there taking up space. He didn't make any impact in either of the games against the Predators. And so maybe that's just it. They just don't feel like he deserves to be in the lineup, and they've got to move on. So it's just he's playing for the sake of just keeping him in there to play, and not he's helping us try to win games.
With all due respect, I mean, with all due respect, that's, as long as you say that, you can say whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. Love Linda Cohn. And, love, she comes on all the time. But, I mean, they don't owe anybody anything. I mean, what if somebody's not good enough, since when do we owe a professional athlete them something?
I think, no. I think at some situations you do, as a franchise, owe that player whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. I do. Not everybody, but some people, that franchise, depending on what they've done for that franchise, you do owe them, like, oh, okay.
I don't think Philadelphia, they don't owe him anything because they don't really have any history with him.
That is the difference between Eli Manning, who was entire career the Giants. Keith Yandel just joined the Flyers this year, so there's probably not that emotional attachment that there was to Eli. I think of Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken just basically decided one day, all right, this is it. It's time for this to end. And remember, they had the ceremonial, he's coming out, they put the other guy in, and that was it. So I think it's a really interesting question, though, because it's such a unique thing, a streak. Like, you gotta love the ability for this guy to be able to clock in at work as long as he has. And so on one hand, you kind of want to see how long it would go before something ended it. And maybe the end of the season would have been the better breaking point, but that's why now is the interesting time. They're not going to the playoffs, and they don't, in my view, I don't think there's a specific guy they want to call up and say, we want to look at this guy. Not that I've heard anyway. Maybe there is, but I just found the timing pretty interesting. But I do agree, Darren, that if you feel like he's honestly not one of your best 6 defensemen, you can't let the streak just be the only reason you're putting him in there.
Yeah, I mean, can it not? I mean, if, again, I go back to, if there was a discussion that says, okay, we're going to let him get the streak, and if he knows that anything beyond the streak, we're not guaranteeing you, then okay, then it's fine. You know, it's fine if they had that discussion. Like, listen, we're going to allow you to break the streak, but after that, like Darren said, hey, you know, we're trying to get some of these younger guys in. Now, if that was the conversation, then okay. Because what was his response?
He handled it very classy. He basically said, look, they did say when I joined the team, if you can keep playing, you can break the record with us. Mm-hmm. But they did say after that, we kind of have to make a decision at some point. You got to keep earning it. So they were fair to him in terms of letting him know on the front end.
Isn't that all you can do?
That's all you can do.
Right.
Now, what would be sad is if Phil Kessel passes him, because he's been ahead of Phil Kessel all these years. Mm-hmm. And the Coyotes have sort of gone to great lengths to keep Kessel's streak going. There was the time, I forget, wife was having a baby or something. They flew him in on a charter plane. There's some story, a private jet.
Started the game and then left.
Started the game and then left,
yeah,
so he could get out of there. So what does it mean if you're doing these things to keep a streak alive? It's debatable.
Willie, tell us about Lee Company.
All right, Lee Company, that's going to continue. A great sponsor of Nashville Predators hockey. The next chapter is tomorrow night against the Minnesota Wild. Look at the standings. That's all you need to know how important that game is tomorrow. And there are 9 home games left. Lee Company's a big sponsor of Nashville Predators hockey. Their display is all over Bridgestone Arena. Take a look for it when you walk into Smashville. Also, keep in mind that this is a great time of the year to be on the home maintenance plan because you're going to get that annual checkup of your air conditioning unit. Then in the fall, when the weather's about to turn cold, you get the check on the heating unit, plus your plumbing system and your electric system. It's a good thing to have going for you around the clock. It'll keep you on your toes. It'll keep your house running efficiently. That's what you want because over time you're going to save money because they'll locate problems before they become big problems, and you get discounts on the repairs if you pay that small monthly fee to be part of the home maintenance plan. It's a good system. It works for us. We've had it in our house for a long time. Lee Company, 615-567-1000. Call them and ask about the home maintenance plan. That's 615-567-1000 or leecompany.com.
Hey, this is Matt Duchene, and this is Smashville.
Running down the left side with Duchene. Duchene scores! Matt Duchene with the overtime winner.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy skies linger around with us for the rest of the day. High temperature up to 72 degrees. A passing shower will be possible, but we'll save the rain for Tuesday and Wednesday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
To understand what makes Genesis Diamonds so different than other jewelry stores, you have to go back over 40 years to the diamond cutting capital of Tel Aviv, Israel. That's where Genesis owner Boaz Ramon grew up, in the center of the diamond universe. His connections with the best diamond cutters allowed him special access, giving rise to a thriving wholesale business here in the United States. Then, after a few years, this wholesaler changed the game and started selling these precious diamonds direct to the public at the same prices he had sold to the jewelry stores. The no middleman concept became an instant success. Today, Genesis Diamonds provides that extraordinary value to people right here in Middle Tennessee, leading the industry with the highest quality diamonds that still come straight from the best cutters, offered at the guaranteed best price of any jewelry store in America. Genesis Diamonds, a truly revolutionary concept with a unique history rooted in quality, committed to excellence, and always focused on value. Genesis Diamonds, now with a stunning Omega watch boutique, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, it's Jared. The final night of the college basketball tournament is here, and FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers $150 instant bonus guaranteed. That's right, you'll get $150 in bonus site credit. All you have to do is place your bet of $5 or more. How you bet the championship game is up to you, and you can choose from money line, totals, prop bets, and so much more. I am shockingly going to go with North Carolina tonight. I think if they can avoid foul trouble, I think Carolina will beat Kansas. This Carolina team feels like a team of destiny. Join FanDuel today with promo code JGM, and then you can place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. That's promo code JGM on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as your Nashville Predators take on the Ottawa Senators this Thursday night. Puck drops at 6, but the party starts at 5:30 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things out. Ooh.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year one?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and The Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Donick, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Back here on 102.5 The Game. Coming down the stretch. Here's a song from Remember the Titans. Derek, you and I were talking about the new show about the Lakers, where the actor, and his name slips my mind, but
Avon Barksdale.
Well, yeah. So how about these three great roles? He was Julius in Remember the Titans. Great movie. That's where that song reminds me of. Then Avon Barksdale in The Wire, and now he's Spencer Haywood. He just made his debut last night. They just traded for Spencer Haywood for the 79-80 Lakers, and so those are fun. I mean, those are three pretty fun roles to play.
He was Barksdale first, and then Julius in Remember the Titans.
I think Remember the Titans was before The Wire,
You think
wasn't
it? Was?
What year did The Wire?
Yeah,
come
you're
out?
right, because it was when I was still here. The Wire came out once I got to no. Oh, boy. It might have been 2003 when The Wire came out.
Wood Harris is the name of the actor. All right, now let's find out when The Wire came out. And by the way, Wood Harris is 52 years old, and he's playing Spencer Haywood. That's pretty strong. He's got to keep in pretty good shape to do that. Let's see. The Wire came out in – where is it? Oh, I'm looking at film. Okay, TV.
It had to be 03
The Wire
04.
02. 02 was the first year of The Wire.
Okay, so yeah, I was still here.
Apparently, he also played Jimi Hendrix in a television film. I don't remember that, but that's another fun role to play. Guy's had a heck of a career.
Do you guys remember you just made the list on Friday?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Do you remember who I put on the list?
Potato cakes?
Yes.
Always the correct answer.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. A musician? Remember?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I saw it this morning on the news. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, church.
Isn't that crazy
Yes.
how he's decided to give them a free show out of it.
Oh, that's right.
That was
Isn't
selfish
that
of
something?
me. I shouldn't have.
Isn't that
yada.
something? That's called reaction to blowback, right? Reaction to blowback.
You know what they say? It's better to ask for forgiveness.
That's right.
You know,
that was disappointing.
That's still, it's just like, dude, seriously.
Didn't he release a statement saying like he's appreciative of fans for allowing him to do this? As
he
if
did.
He took
Yeah.
a poll.
It was
It's
kind
they
of
didn't
weak
allow
sauce.
him to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, dude, you made the decision. They didn't say. You didn't say, "Hey, a raise of hands. Who's okay?"
You guys
in San
okay
Antonio.
with me?
San
Yeah.
Antonio, raise your hands if you're okay. Me going to New Orleans.
And they're not having it at the same venue, right?
No, I think it's going to be.
It's like an hour away.
So I don't know how that works. It's just going to be a smaller venue, so I don't know how that's going to work. But
And then with all the people that wanted to get in, will they get in?
I don't know. But I said on Friday, I was like, if he really wanted to go to the game, he would tell those people, sorry, but I'll do another show for free. And he's doing that, but he's doing it in a smaller place. So I don't know how that's going to work. But
it's a little bit too late, I think. Even though people still go. I just think it's one of those, okay, the blowback was huge. Let me do something here.
it's just, again, we've talked about this so much over the years. Like, how do they not have somebody? It's one thing maybe if he can't see it. I'd love to walk in those shoes, but I'm never going to be that famous and that rich, so I'm never going to feel or know what that's like, where you kind of get maybe lost into maybe reality, okay? And maybe you just you can't read things like we can. But don't you have somebody in your camp that can get to you and say, yeah, hey, Eric, here's the deal. That's going to piss a lot of people off. So,
like, this will be major.
Let's have a plan to counter when people go ape, to use Pete Weber's line, okay? So when they go ape, let's have a counterattack to that, like a free show. Something like how does somebody not a preemptive strike in his camp?
No, it should have been somebody that said, as soon as he said that, I'm thinking about I'm going to go to Carolina again. I'm going to blow off this concert. Somebody should have said, no, you're not. That's not a smart move. I don't want to have to do, PR work after the fact. I don't want to have to clean up this mess after the fact. No, just don't go. That would have been a smart thing. Just don't go. Watch it on television.
It's a great thought, Derek. Probably that person thought, if I do that, then he's probably going to get somebody else who will clean up his mess.
But it has to be somebody that you're not paying, that somebody else is paying, like the label is paying, and say, listen, I don't think that's a good idea.
We've seen a lot of movies where this isn't a good idea guy
exactly.
gets shot down.
Comes out of he comes out.
You got to
be
pretty strong.
He or she comes out of nowhere, and then everybody dismisses them. But he should have had one of those people. Hey, listen, I don't think that's a good idea. Did you go to Carolina? Nope. I really don't think it's a good idea. No. Mm-mm.
According to Ian Rappaport, this whole Rich Cimini stuff, it's amazing. Because A.J. Brown has reacted to it, DK Metcalf has it. But according to Ian Rappaport, it says there are a lot of teams calling Seattle about trading for DK Metcalf.
I don't know why these guys even – it's like, okay, on one hand, the guys say, what are every athlete or I don't listen to that stuff. I don't And then the other hand, they always commenting on something that doesn't have real true validity. It's like you see it, and if the Titans hadn't said anything, your agent hadn't said anything, it's like I'm not going to comment on it. It is what it is.
DK Metcalf responded to that tweet and said, haven't heard anything, comma, per, and then he put at and DK, his own Twitter handle.
It's like, man, I just leave it alone. Because now you're giving it more fuel. You add more fuel. You're letting it run a little bit longer than what it should.
It just doesn't make it just why if you're Rich Cimini or anybody who might be a hopeful Jets person why wouldn't you just ask anybody in Nashville? Like the Titans don't want They're not trading A.J. Brown.
I don't think
he's not on the trading block.
I don't think he's saying it will happen. I think what he's saying is, well, since they missed out on Tyreek Hill, what other, big time wide receiver can